Chapter 591. The next moment the other examiner also smiled and said, "Fellow cultivator, I can also recommend you to be the city guard general in the West City." After hearing the three of them speak one after another, Wang Mang was suddenly a little surprised. He didn't expect that the three of them would actually open their mouths to invite him. At the same time, Wang Mang also roughly understood that this so-called City Lord Mansion was actually a mess of forces. There were actually 4 City Lord Mansions? After all, according to the tone of these three guys, there were 3 City Lord Mansions in the East, West, and East City Lord Mansions. Then the last City Lord Mansion definitely existed as well. Just Greenwood City alone, there were 4 City Lord Mansions. From this, it could be seen that this Greenwood City was still very complicated. After pondering for a moment, Wang Mang smiled and cupped his hands and said, "The so-called first come, first served. I'm sorry, fellow cultivators. I'd better go with this fellow cultivator to the East City Lord Mansion." Hearing this, the other 2 examiners nodded with regret. Of course, it was just a pity. For them, Wang Mang was not worthy of their attention and flattery. Unless Wang Mang could become a deputy city lord. Once he became a deputy city lord, his power in Greenwood City would be very great. At this moment, after seeing that Wang Mang chose him, the examiner from the East City Lord Mansion was very happy. He stepped forward and patted Wang Mang on the shoulder, smiled and said, "Let's go, I'll take you to the East City Lord Mansion. I'll also introduce you to the East City Lord Mansion on the way. Fellow cultivator, I think you should have just arrived in Greenwood City not long ago? How should I address you?" "I'm Wu Tian. How should I address you?" Wang Mang smiled and echoed. "So it's fellow cultivator Wu Tian. You can call me Guang Liang." The examiner smiled and said, "Brother Guang Liang, what's going on with the East City Lord Mansion? Does Greenwood City have 4 City Lord Mansions?" Hearing this, Guang Liang smiled and nodded. "That's right, brother, you don't know this Greenwood City. Although it's not big, there are many forces. There are several first-rate forces, and countless second-rate and third-rate forces. Among them, the Azurewood City Lord's Mansion is also one of the first-rate forces. Oh, it should be said that the Azurewood City Lord's Mansion has just reached the level of a first-rate force. That's because the current Cyanwood City only has 3 City Lords, and all 3 City Lords are great golden immortals. Thus, in the Cyanwood City, our City Master's Mansion is actually not considered to be at the top. We are merely one of the top powers. Fellow Taoist, after joining the City Lord's Mansion in the future, you will naturally slowly come to understand Azurewood City, this extremely beautiful and chaotic city." After hearing Guang Liang's words, Wang Mang nodded in realization. Then, he couldn't help but narrow his eyes. This was because he had heard about the City Lord's Mansion immediately. Currently, there was no North City Lord's Mansion. In order to verify his conjecture in the future, Wang Mang inadvertently asked, "Brother Guang Liang, which North City Lord's Mansion?" Hearing this, Guang Liang immediately shook his head and laughed. The City Lord of the North City Lord's Mansion naturally doesn't have one. However, this position has already been targeted by others. Now, the deputy city lords of the 3 City Lords' Mansions are all eyeing the position of the City Lord of the North City Lord's Mansion. However, in order to become the North City Lord's Mansion, one's strength must reach the Great Golden Immortal level. Otherwise, the other 3 City Lords will definitely not approve of it. Wang Mang nodded secretly. He had some understanding of the forces in Azurewood City. However, he couldn't help but ask, "Brother Guang Liang, may I ask where Azurewood City is? How many first-rate forces are there in Azurewood City?" Guang Liang smiled and introduced, "There are 5 first-rate forces in Azurewood City. Including our City Lord's Mansion, there are only 6. They are the 4 great families, Chen, Li Qian, and Sun. There is also the Mercenary Alliance. There are a lot of second-rate forces." Unknowingly, Wang Mang had already followed Guang Liang to the East City Lord's mansion in Azure Wood City. At this time, after entering the East City Lord's mansion, Guang Liang smiled at Wang Mang and said, "Fellow cultivator, come with me to see the East City Lord. When the time comes, let's see how the East City Lord will arrange for you." Wang Mang nodded his head and followed Guang Liang into a large hall, where they waited quietly. In the next moment, Wang Mang saw that outside the hall, an old man with white hair walked in with vigorous step. Not only that, Wang Mang could feel that the aura on his body was very terrifying. It was even comparable to the fifth elder of the Dragon Clan who had once dealt with Wang Mang. This also made Wang Mang secretly shocked. He had never thought that the East City Lord's strength had reached such a level. At this time, the old man with white hair came up to Wang Mang and said with a smile, "Guang Liang said that the one who wants to join my East City Lord's mansion is you, right?" Hearing this, Wang Mang quickly nodded respectfully and said, "Greetings, East City Lord." "Haha. You don't have to call me Lord, just call me East City Lord." The old man smiled and waved his hand. "In addition, you will be the person in charge of our East City Gate in the future." After saying those words, the white-haired old man looked at Wang Mang with an amiable expression. He patted Wang Mang's shoulder and left behind a green command medallion. Only then did he leave in satisfaction. Obviously, he, a stage 5 powerhouse, had come to see Wang Mang in person, which showed that he valued him very much. Therefore, Wang Mang was not surprised that the old man in the East City Lord left after seeing him for a short time. On the contrary, Wang Mang was curious about the so-called person in charge of the East City Gate. What was going on? Was he the person in charge of the East City Gate in Greenwood City? But after the old man left, Guang Liang looked at Wang Mang with envy and said, "Fellow cultivator, when you get rich in the future, don't forget me." Wang Mang's heart skipped a beat, and he asked in confusion, "Brother Guang Liang, what is the position of the so-called person in charge of the East City Gate?" Guang Liang explained enviously, "Greenwood City has 4 main city gates, one each in the north, south, east, and west. Under the authority of the 4 city lords, each city gate is in charge of one side of the city. Now that the East City Lord has handed the position of the person in charge of the East City Gate to you, brother, you have a lot of power. With the ability to control a certain amount of military power, there are also a lot of benefits. Brother, with the position of the person in charge of the East City Gate, your position is enough to rank in the top 6 under the East City Lord's command, higher than mine." After hearing this, Wang Mang couldn't help but be secretly happy. He didn't listen to anything else, but the word oil and water, he heard it clearly. After all, Wang Mang already had a certain level of understanding towards profiteering. He naturally knew that if the other party said there were benefits, it meant that there were benefits to be gained. Thinking of this, Wang Mang was even more expectant. He never thought that he would be able to settle down in Greenwood City in the Million Mountain Range so quickly. Moreover, he even got a good job. Not bad at all. Just as Wang Mang was feeling happy and wonderful, the system's voice sounded frowny-faced. "Ding. Congratulations, host. Mission successfully completed." "Ding. Congratulations, host. Obtained 5 million energy value." "Ding. Congratulations, host. Obtained Immortal Level Blind Box X1." "Ding. Accumulation to meet the evolution conditions. Begin evolution?" Chapter 592. No! After listening to the system's voice, Wang Mang couldn't help but be overjoyed. Finally, he had accumulated enough energy for another evolution. After coming back to his senses, Wang Mang, who was in a good mood, reached out and patted Guang Liang on the shoulder, chuckling. "Ahaha! Good. I hope it's as Brother Guang Liang said." Guang Liang also shook his head helplessly, knowing that Wang Mang didn't take his words seriously. But in fact, the position of the person in charge of the East City Gate was already very high. At least in Guang Liang's opinion, There were not many people who had a higher position than Wang Mang. After chatting with Wang Mang for a while, Guang Liang left the East City Lord's mansion. Similarly, Wang Mang also went to the East City Gate to take up the power. 10 minutes later, near a huge city gate, outside a majestic and imposing mansion, Wang Mang walked to the mansion with his hands behind his back. He was about to enter the mansion when he was stopped. 2 guards in the Earth Celestial Stage said expressionlessly, "This is the mansion of the General of the East City Gate. Unauthorized people are not allowed to enter." Hearing this, Wang Mang showed the cyan token in his hand. The 2 guards were surprised when they saw the token. Then, they quickly reacted and said respectfully in a low voice, "Greetings to the new General of the East City Gate." Only then did Wang Mang grunt in satisfaction. After putting away the command medallion, he walked towards the residence. It was worth mentioning that this mansion was very good. It was indeed not as good as the Dragon Might Palace, but the environment was definitely better than the small palace he owned when he was promoted in the Heavenly Court. 10 minutes later, Wang Mang looked around the mansion and was quite satisfied with it. Wang Mang nodded secretly and was ready to have a good rest. At the same time, he also sorted out his gains, because tomorrow he would take office and roughly understand his duties. Well, in fact, Wang Mang wanted to take office as soon as possible. He had to take office as soon as possible to understand the duties of the person in charge of the East City Gate and the ways to make money. But just as Wang Mang was preparing to enter the mansion's seclusion room, a servant ran over. "Reporting to my lord, the Chen family's second young master is already in the main hall. My lord, you should quickly go and meet him." Hearing this, Wang Mang frowned and asked, "What's going on with the Chen family?" The old slave was stunned for a moment, then he hurriedly explained. "My lord, the Chen clan is one of the 5 great clans of Cyanwood City. In addition, the Chen family's core is also near the eastern part of the city. It can be said that even the East City Lord has to be courteous to the Chen family. So, my lord, you must never offend the Chen clan." After hearing the servant's words, Wang Mang finally understood the so-called Chen family. He really couldn't afford to offend them. After all, a first-rate family had at least 3 fifth-order powerhouses in their family. Not to mention that Wang Mang couldn't afford to offend them. Even the East City Lord wouldn't dare to offend them. Thinking of this, Wang Mang felt that it was strange, but he still suppressed his doubts and said, "Lead the way." "My lord, this way please." The old slave respectfully walked towards the main hall. As soon as Wang Mang entered the main hall, he saw an extremely arrogant young man. The other party was crossing his legs and eating an unknown strange fruit. Seeing this scene, Wang Mang's heart sank. This guy really didn't take him seriously. At this time, the young man, Chen Kuan, sized up Wang Mang and said lazily, "You're the new person in charge of the East City Gate, right? Then you'll have to pay back the celestial stones that the previous person in charge of the East City Gate owed me." "How is it? The new milord? Is there any problem?" Speaking of this, the young man's gaze fell on Wang Mang and asked lazily. To tell the truth, if it was possible, Wang Mang really wanted to slap him hard. This son of AB*TCH is too damn arrogant. This was simply a perfect demonstration of the characteristics of a hedonistic son of a big family. However, the problem was, how could Wang Mang pay back a debt that had nothing to do with him? Therefore Wang Mang said bluntly, "You'll have to pay back the celestial stones that whoever owes you. I'm in this position to make money, not to repay people's debts. Have I made myself clear? Do you need me to repeat myself?" Speaking of this, Wang Mang looked at Chen Kuan indifferently and slowly narrowed his eyes. Hearing this, Chen Kuan, who was originally lazily sitting, could not help but be stunned. Then, he slowly sat up and looked at Wang Mang with flickering eyes. His eyes were sharp and unfriendly, but more than that, they were cold. He did not expect that he was just a new watchdog. F***ck, how dare he talk to him like this? Unfortunately, No matter how hard he glared at Wang Mang, it was useless. Moreover, Wang Mang did not care at all. He was still expressionless. This immediately made Chen Kuan angry out of humiliation. F***CKU, are you talking to me? You don't know what's good for you. Do you know who I am? In the face of this guy's blatant threat, Wang Mang could not help but laugh. This guy was just a hedonistic son of a rich family. His strength had not even reached the level of a celestial prime. How dare he threaten him? Was this how a son of a big family should be? If all the sons of other families were like this, their families would not be far from being finished. Thinking of this, Wang Mang secretly shook his head. Of course, Wang Mang was not someone to be bullied. Even if the other party was a son of one of the 4 big families, Wang Mang said coldly. I don't need to know who you are. Also, you're just a piece of trash from a big family. You're not qualified to threaten me. Remember this. Stay away from me in the future. As soon as he finished speaking, Wang Mang's body suddenly moved. In the next moment, a violent slap was heard. Slap. At the same time, it was accompanied by a scream. Chen Kuan was sent flying by Wang Mang's slap. At this moment, Chen Kuan was covering his face in pain. He looked at Wang Mang in shock and anger and shouted angrily. How dare you lay your hands on me? You're dead. This is not over. I'll definitely not let you off. After he finished speaking, Chen Kuan covered his face angrily, got up from the ground, and turned to leave. Seeing this, Wang Mang was a little surprised. If this guy could not help but hit him, Wang Mang could not care less and even think that the other party was just a clown. However, this guy could tolerate him hitting him and was about to leave after saying some harsh words. This proved that the other party was more or less a shrewd person, or one of those insidious people. Thinking of this, Wang Mang knew that he had to control this guy. Otherwise, he would be in trouble when he just took office. Thinking of this, Wang Mang's eyes were filled with murderous intent. He said coldly, Stop right there. Did I allow you to leave? Chapter 593. After hearing Wang Mang's words, Chen Kuan's body froze. He turned to look at Wang Mang with a gloomy face. What do you mean? Don't tell me you want to kill me? At this point, Chen Kuan's gaze turned ferocious. He could let go of the fact that Wang Mang had attacked him earlier. He was indeed not as strong as Wang Mang. He was also thinking of ways to deal with Wang Mang when he returned. However, he did not expect that Wang Mang would not let him go. However, Chen Kuan did not think that this guy had the guts to kill him. In the East District of Greenwood City, the Chen family was powerful. Even the city lord of the East District did not dare to offend them. This guy in front of him was just a guard dog. Although he was not a direct descendant of the Chen family, his status in the Chen family was not low. If anything happened to him, the Stage 5 powerhouses of the Chen family would not let Wang Mang go easily. Hearing this, Wang Mang grinned. However, his face was gloomy. I don't dare to kill you. However, I dare to control you. After he finished speaking, Wang Mang did not hesitate to use the God-controlling seal. In the next moment, Chen Kuan, who was originally unhappy, suddenly fell to the ground and screamed in pain. The shrill scream made one's hair stand on end. At the same time, the old servant of the East District Army sucked in a breath of cold air when he saw this. He did not expect the new person in charge of the East District Army to be so ruthless. Not long after, Chen Kuan, who was screaming in pain, slowly stood up and knelt down in fear. Your servant Chen Kuan greets the Lord. Hearing this, Wang Mang nodded slightly. Then, he looked at the old servant of the East District Army. After seeing Wang Mang's gaze, the old servant was so scared that he trembled and almost fell to the ground. He quickly lowered his head and said in fear, General, don't worry. Your servant did not see or hear anything. Hearing this, Wang Mang smiled faintly. His slightly pale face also regained some color. Then, Wang Mang didn't hesitate and used the God-controlling seal again, successfully controlling Slave He as well. Only then did Wang Mang stop, satisfied. This was because he would never let an uncertain person know anything about him. But at this moment, the system's voice sounded again. Ding! The host's current situation has been detected. The host is given the following mission to choose from. Mission 1. Express disinterest in the position of the next head of the Chen family and choose to ignore it. Mission time. Available upon selection. Mission reward. 1 million energy values. Mission 2. Express your interest in the position of the next head of the Chen family and help Chen Kuan become one of the successors. Mission time. You can obtain it upon completion. Mission reward. 10 million energy values. Immortal Blind Box X1. Mission 3. Express your interest in the position of the next head of the Chen family and help Chen Kuan become the only successor. Mission time. You can obtain it upon completion. Mission reward. 20 million energy value. Immortal Blind Box X1. Immortal Treasure Chest X1. Mission 4. Express your interest in the position of the next head of the Chen family and help Chen Kuan become the true head of the family. Mission time. You can obtain it upon completion. Mission reward. 40 million energy values. Immortal Blind Box X2. Immortal Treasure Chest X2. After listening to the system's mission, Wang Mang was stunned again. What the F***CK? Another mission? But the reward for this mission was a little too much? It could be said that other than the first mission, it was a freeloader. The other mission rewards were all very good. The first thing Wang Mang eliminated was the first mission. As for the second mission, to become one of the successors, the reward of 10 million energy values could be considered. As for the third mission, to become the only successor, the reward of 20 million energy values could also be considered. Could be said that other than the first and fourth missions, these two were basically not considered. Because the fourth mission was too difficult. Directly change the head of the Chen family. How was this possible? After all, the Chen family was not a force of cats and dogs. They were the number one force in Greenwood City. Moreover, they were a first-rate force. One had to know that a first-rate force required at least 3 fifth-stage powerhouses as the foundation. It was too difficult to change the head of the family directly. However, Wang Mang did not make a hasty decision. In the end, he decided to ask Chen Kuan how powerful the Chen family was. With that thought, Wang Mang looked at Chen Kuan and asked, "How many fifth-stage powerhouses do you have in your family?" Chen Kuan was stunned at first. Then he answered honestly, "My lord, we have 5 fifth-stage powerhouses in the Chen family. 4 of them are from the Chen family, and the other one is the Chen family's guest grand elder." After hearing Chen Kuan's words, Wang Mang was secretly shocked. No wonder Chen Kuan was so arrogant. It turned out that the Chen family had 5 fifth-stage powerhouses. Such a force was indeed too powerful. Then, Wang Mang could not help but ask, "Is the Chen family going to start selecting the next successor?" Chen Kuan was stunned again. He looked at Wang Mang with a face full of astonishment and asked, "My lord, how do you even know about the internal affairs of the Chen family?" Hearing this, Wang Mang waved his hand and said, "You don't need to know how I know. Tell me, do you have a high chance of competing for the position of successor?" After hearing Wang Mang's words, Chen Kuan's face was full of helplessness. "My lord, you think too highly of me. To become the successor, I need the support of the Grand Elders." Now, on the surface, the two people competing for the position of successor are Chen Whiting and Chen Weiqi. Both of them are of the direct bloodline and have the support of 2 Grand Elders. "My lord, we don't even have the support of 1 Grand Elder." Saying this, Chen Kuan's face was full of envy. Hearing this, Wang Mang could not help but narrow his eyes. He already had an idea in his mind. He roughly understood the current situation of the Chen family. In other words, this guy still had a chance to become one of the successors. However, it was unlikely that he would become the sole successor. Thinking of this, Wang Mang said in his heart, "System, I choose the second mission." In the next moment, the system's voice sounded frowny-faced ding. "Congratulations, host. You have successfully chosen the mission. Please complete the mission as soon as possible to receive the reward." After hearing the system's voice, Wang Mang had a rough plan in his mind. Then, Wang Mang asked again, "Are you confident in winning over the guest Grand Elder?" Chen Kuan seemed to have thought of something and looked at Wang Mang with a face full of anticipation and surprise. He said carefully, "My lord, you want me to compete for the position of successor?" When he saw Wang Mang nod slightly, Chen Kuan was instantly elated. However, he was still a little worried. "My lord, even if I win over the guest Grand Elder, it won't be enough. At least 2 Grand Elders are needed to become one of the successors. That's why the Chen family has always only had 2 successors. In the end, the next head of the family will be one of these 2 successors." Saying this, Chen Kuan looked at Wang Mang and kindly reminded him, "My lord, even if I have the confidence to win over the guest Grand Elder, I still don't have the qualifications to become one of the successors." Hearing this, Wang Mang's lips curled up slightly. What if there is a new rank 5 powerhouse who joins the Chen family who also supports you? Chapter 594. After hearing Wang Mang's words, Chen Kuan was stunned. He looked at Wang Mang in shock. Clearly, he did not understand Wang Mang's words. He asked in confusion, "Master, what do you mean?" Hearing that, Wang Mang immediately said unhappily, "What I mean is for you to strive to rope in that guest Grand Elder. I have a way to get a Stage 5 powerhouse to join the Chen family. Facing a Type 5 powerhouse, your Chen family can't possibly reject him." After fully understanding Wang Mang's words, Chen Kuan said excitedly, "Master, I understand what you mean. I understand now. If Master can really get a Stage 5 powerhouse to join the Chen family as a Grand Elder, then I can really become one of the successors. There are too few Stage 5 powerhouses. Even in the Sacred Emperor continent they are at the top of the pyramid. For such a powerhouse, let alone a first-rate faction, even a super first-rate faction or a peak faction would welcome him." Only then did Wang Mang nod in satisfaction. "So, your mission is to rope in that guest Grand Elder." Chen Kuan patted his chest confidently. "As long as you can recruit that Grand Elder, I can guarantee that you will become one of the successors. Master, don't worry. Although I am not a direct descendant of the Chen family, my position in the branch bloodline is not just for show. Because our branch bloodline once had a patriarch." Wang Mang nodded in satisfaction. "Very good. If there's nothing else, you can go back. I will support you to become one of the successors of the Chen family." After receiving Wang Mang's order, Chen Kuan left excitedly. East City Gate General's Mansion. At the same time, Wang Mang also sent the old servant away. Then, he began to walk towards the general's estate. That was because Wang Mang wanted to sort out his gains. Oh no, he was not in a hurry to sort out his gains. Although he could already evolve once, Wang Mang's current priority was to summon a Type 5 powerhouse. Then, he would order this Stage 5 powerhouse's subordinate to join the Chen family and become a guest elder to help him complete his mission. In fact, if he developed well in the future, he might even be able to gradually take control of the Chen family in Azurewood City. Once he gained control of a first-rate force, Wang Mang believed that he would be able to establish himself in the Greenwood City of the Million Mountains. At that time, when you're stronger than him, you can take revenge on this little bitch Tong Yen. So what if you're a teacher of the Saint Emperor Academy? Wasn't it just rank 5? Wang Mang was confident that it wouldn't take long for him to become a Type 5 powerhouse. After arriving at the place of seclusion, Wang Mang impatiently chanted, "System, use the summoning card of a Type 5 powerhouse." The next moment the system's voice sounded. Ding. Congratulations, host. Successfully used Tier 5 Powerhouse Summoning Card. Ding. Host, please choose one of the following. Targets that you do not wish to summon will be excluded. Target number 1, Yi Tiandi. Realm, Level 5. Status, Peak. Personality, Unknown. Slogan, I am Yi Tiandi, the one who suppresses all enemies in the world. Origin, Top Great World. Target number 2, Merciless Empress. Realm, Level 5. Status, Peak. Personality, Unknown. Slogan, not to become an immortal, only to wait for your return in the mortal world. Origin, De Xuanhuan World. Target number 3, Hell's Great Sage. Realm, Level 5. Status, Demonized Period. Personality, Dark. Slogan, she is the only light in the depths of darkness. Origin, reborn in the endless darkness. Target number 4, Immortal King Anlin. Realm, Level 5. Status, Peak. Personality, Unknown. Slogan, the pinnacle of immortals, proud of the world. With me, Anlin, there is heaven. Origin, De Xuanhuan World. Target number 5, 9 Dragons Lord. Realm, Level 5. Status, Youth. Personality, Unknown. Origin, Top De Xuanhuan World. Slogan, am I really wrong? Target number 6, Random Unknown. Realm, Level 5. Status, Unknown. Personality, Unknown. Origin, Unknown. Slogan, Unknown. After looking at the 6 targets' subordinates released by the system, Wang Meng was stunned. He didn't expect the subordinates he summoned this time to be so awesome. Even characters from novels in his previous life appeared. But it had to be said that these characters were definitely very powerful. It could be said that Wang Meng was satisfied with every target's subordinate. Of course, since he had to exclude one, Wang Meng actually had his own considerations. Of the 6 targets, 4 were men and 1 was a woman. Therefore, Wang Meng wasn't surprised at all. His choice was clear at a glance. The next moment, Wang Meng said in his heart, System, eliminate the 2nd target, Merciless Empress. The next moment the system's voice sounded. Ding! Congratulations, host. Successfully eliminated the 2nd target. Ding! Warm reminder to host. The summoned subordinate will appear within 3 days. After hearing the system's voice, Wang Meng was instantly overjoyed. Not bad, not bad. While Wang Meng was happy, he was also looking forward to it. Who would be the target of the summoning? Of course, Wang Meng still hoped that the summoned subordinate would be as strong as possible. In a good mood, Wang Meng went to work early the next morning. Then, Wang Meng spent more than 2 hours to figure out his rights as the person in charge of the East City Gate. To put it bluntly, he was really AF** King Watchdog. But there were also rights. For example, the 4 city gates of Greenwood City had to pay a fee to enter and exit. Of course, how much could be charged depended on each person's ability. For example, the previous East City Gate didn't charge a fee to enter and exit the city. Furthermore, the people who were wanted by the Cyanwood City could also be released or captured. Anyway, as long as he followed up on the matters related to exiting the city gate, he had the right to control and make the decision. Except for the things that the East City Lord asked him to do, he didn't need to report anything to the East City Lord Mansion. After knowing the rights of the person in charge of the East City Gate, Wang Meng couldn't help but want to make money. Moreover, Wang Meng immediately informed the soldiers of the East City Gate to gather. Half an hour later, in the training square near the East City Gate, Wang Meng looked at the thousands of subordinates gathered and said indifferently, I am the new person in charge of the East City Gate. I don't have any requirements for you. Just listen to me. Also, where are General Jean Men and General Een Men? Come up now. As soon as he finished speaking, the 2 guards walked in and said respectfully, "Greetings, General Dongqing." Wang Mang nodded slightly and asked directly, "Let me ask you, how was the gate fee calculated in the past?" Hearing this, General Jin Men hesitated and said, "General, the previous general of the East City Gate didn't charge a gate fee. But I heard that the gate fee of the South City Gate is charged according to the number of people. It seems to be 1 celestial stone per person." After hearing this, Wang Mang frowned and said, "Why is it so little? How can we make money with this little amount of celestial stones?" Starting from today, the gate fee of the East City Gate is also charged according to the number of people, 10 celestial stones per person every time. Then, send the immortal stones that are 70% of the entrance and exit fees to the Great General's mansion at the Eastern Gate. If anyone can't do a good job, get the hell out of here. Do you two hear me? While speaking, Wang Mang saw that the 2 of them were in a daze. He couldn't help but be stunned and asked doubtfully, "What? Could it be that the gate fee this general mentioned is too low? How about 100 celestial stones per person?" Chapter 595. General Jin Men and General Yin Men, who were already frightened by Wang Mang, were even more dumbfounded. They never thought that Wang Mang would be so cruel and greedy. No, this could not be called greedy anymore. They thought that Wang Mang might as well rob them openly. The South City Gate charged 1 immortal stone per person. But what about Wang Mang? He asked for 10 immortal stones. Then, he even asked for 100 immortal stones per person. If this was not daylight robbery, then what was it? Therefore, the 2 of them hurriedly said in fear, "Sir, wait. There are too many, sir." "Yes. Sir, the price you gave is too expensive." "Yes. If Sir charges like this, I'm afraid your reputation will be ruined, and you will even anger many cultivators." As they spoke, the 2 of them looked at Wang Mang with fear and trepidation. It could be said that the previous person in charge of the East City Gate was very useless. But Wang Mang, the new person in charge, was completely different. Not only was he powerful, but he was also cruel and merciless. Most importantly, he was black-hearted. After all, they knew that they could not do what Wang Mang did, which was close to daylight robbery. But what about Wang Mang? He had already proposed it, and he was just short of forcing them to do it. They had seen black-hearted people, but they had never seen such a black-hearted person. That was what the 2 of them were thinking at this moment. Seeing that the 2 of them hurriedly refuted him, Wang Mang was a little unhappy, but after thinking about it seriously, he felt that it made sense. Thinking of this, Wang Mang slowly nodded and said, "How can that be? In the future, each person will pay 10 immortal stones. Let's see the price first. If it doesn't work, we'll adjust it." After hearing Wang Mang's words, the 2 of them felt very embarrassed, but they still felt relieved. At least 10 immortal stones, they could still shamelessly accept it. If one person charged 100 immortal stones, even if he shamelessly accepted it, he might not be able to do it. Moreover, in their opinion, Wang Mang would probably back off. When they realized that the price was too high, they would take the initiative to lower the price. But what they didn't know was that Wang Mang's thoughts were the exact opposite of theirs. If the fees could not meet the conditions that Wang Mang was satisfied with, then the black-hearted Wang Mang would naturally continue to raise the price. "Enough. 10 immortal stones for 1 head. Give 70% to me. As for the other 30%, you guys decide how to split it among yourselves." After saying those words, Wang Mang turned his gaze to the several thousand generals and soldiers and slowly said, "In the future, the 2 of you will supervise each other. If anyone dares to embezzle this daddy's immortal stones, come to my residence and tell me. I will reward you handsomely." Hearing Wang Mang's words, the generals and soldiers all trembled and replied loudly, "That's right. Yes, great general." Wang Mang nodded in satisfaction. Then, Wang Mang waved his hand and said, "Very good. All of you must carry out my orders. You may leave." After saying this, Wang Mang left in a good mood. Yes, there was nothing for him to do. This was how relaxed the person in charge of the East City Gate was. He didn't have to do anything. He just had to give orders and let his subordinates carry them out. This kind of work also made Wang Mang very satisfied. He liked this kind of job where there was a lot of money and the work was easy. At this moment, just as Wang Mang was walking back to his residence, on the street far away in the city, a beautiful figure suddenly attracted Wang Mang's attention. When he saw the beautiful figure clearly, Wang Mang was completely dumbfounded. Wasn't this Tong Nian? Yes. This peerless beauty was Tong Nian. She was also the bitch who drove Wang Mang out of the Saint Emperor Academy. Junior Tong Xian's elder sister. At this moment, Tong Nian also saw Wang Mang. When she saw Wang Mang, her pretty face revealed an even more astonished expression. Obviously, she didn't expect to meet Wang Mang here. This was too much of a coincidence. Moreover, shouldn't Wang Mang die in Greenwood City? After all, Greenwood City looked very peaceful, but it was extremely chaotic. It could even be said that killing could be seen everywhere in Greenwood City, and no one was controlling it. Killing and robbing could be seen everywhere. Anything could happen. But what about Wang Mang? He actually survived. What made her even more shocked was that Wang Mang's strength increased too quickly. How long had it been? It was only 1 or 2 years. Wang Mang's realm had already reached the intermediate immortal venerable realm. In addition, she could feel that Wang Mang's current strength was probably not weaker than an ordinary advanced immortal venerable expert. Thinking of this, Tong Nian's heart couldn't help but sink. Her beautiful eyes flashed with killing intent. She really didn't have a good impression of Wang Mang. In her impression, he was just a sinister and shameless villain. After all, he even tricked her sister to steal his pill formula. How good could such a person be? Why not just kill him directly? Thinking of this, Tong Nian's heart surged with killing intent. But after thinking for a while, she ruled out this idea. Because she had told Wang Mang that as long as he left Saint Emperor Academy, all the grudges would be written off. If she killed Wang Mang now, wouldn't she be breaking her promise? He was just an intermediate immortal venerable. To her, he was still an ant. Once she thought of this, her face regained its indifference. On her beautiful face, there was still a coldness that kept people 1,000 miles away. At this moment, Wang Mang naturally didn't know what the other party was thinking. Although Wang Mang really wanted to show off in front of this bitch, and even wanted to say to this bitch, 30 years in the East, 30 years in the West. Don't bully a poor young man. But after thinking about it, Wang Mang decided not to. It wouldn't be good if he really angered this woman. He could wait until his strength reached the 5th level. Then, he would casually humiliate her once again. This was what Wang Mang was thinking at this moment. At this moment, the two of them met and were about to brush past each other. Remember, don't let me see you near Saint Emperor Academy. Otherwise, I will kill you without hesitation. After the two of them brushed past each other, the other party's cold warning sounded in Wang Mang's ears. Hearing this, Wang Mang's body stiffened and he was furious. This was too much of a bully. This was too much. For a moment, Wang Mang was so angry that he was trembling all over. He wanted nothing more than to slap Tong Nian across the face. It could be said that Wang Mang really hated this bitch to the bone now. But just as Wang Mang was feeling sullen and angry, suddenly, in the sky, a dignified voice sounded. This voice was like thunder resounding through the 9 heavens. Little girl, you really talk big. How dare you? How dare you be so presumptuous in front of me? Believe it or not, even if I have to hold the original Emperor City with one hand and carry Heaven Abyss with the other, I can still suppress you with one hand. Chapter 596. This voice was full of majesty and reverberated through heaven and earth. At this moment it was particularly domineering. At least, that was the case for Wang Mang. because Wang Mang had already guessed that the newcomer was very likely to be the Stage 5 expert's subordinate he summoned. Thinking of this, Wang Mang was overjoyed, especially at such a sullen time. He felt that his subordinate had simply come at the right time. The next moment Wang Mang saw in the sky. A white figure was faintly discernible in the clouds. This figure was filled with the terrifying pressure of a Stage 5 expert. In the blink of an eye, this figure had already descended from the sky. At the same time, Wang Mang was also quietly sizing up the subordinate he had summoned. At the same time, he used information detection. The next moment, Anlan's information appeared before his eyes. Target, Anlan. Level, 3rd Heaven of the Immortal Emperor Realm. Character, King of Pretentious. Status, Peak. Loyalty, 80%. After seeing this subordinate, Wang Mang was stunned. Then, he had a bad premonition. Because in Wang Mang's opinion, this Tong Yen's strength was at the Immortal Emperor Realm. But Anlan was only at the 3rd Heaven of the Immortal Emperor Realm, which was the early stage of the Immortal Emperor Realm. But the feeling Tong Yen gave Wang Mang was that this Tong Yen's realm was very likely to be higher than his subordinates. Just as Wang Mang was worrying, Anlan's next words immediately made Wang Mang feel relieved. Anlan, who was standing with his hands behind his back, had an unfathomable look. He waved at Tong Yen with one hand. If you're not convinced, feel free to come and try. I, Anlan, am invincible in the world. Hearing this, Tong Yen's pretty face suddenly turned frosty and said coldly, "Come and try then." As soon as she finished speaking, Tong Yen's figure flashed and disappeared. Humph! Anlan, who snorted coldly, stomped on the ground and also disappeared. As for Wang Mang, seeing the two disappear, he hurriedly tracked their auras and flew into the distance. 10 minutes later, Wang Mang had already left Greenwood City. In a vast and endless wilderness mountain range, Wang Mang had just arrived when he heard the earth-shattering sounds of battle in front of him, only to see two figures crisscrossing each other. Their speed was as fast as lightning as they exchanged blows. The commotion was so great that it was like an earth dragon had flipped over, and it caused an area of 500 kilometers in the surroundings to be in a mess. To tell the truth, Wang Mang couldn't even see the movements of their fight. Because the speed was too fast, it was so fast that it traveled through space, appearing and disappearing. This was also the first time Wang Mang saw a battle between Type 5 powerhouses. An hour later, as Wang Mang waited for a long time, two figures appeared in the sky. Anlan, who was standing proudly in the air, had his hands behind his back. His long hair fluttered in the wind, giving off an invincible aura. In contrast, Tong Yen was as pale as snow. Clearly, he wasn't in good condition. "I will remember you, Wang Mang." At this time, Tong Yen coldly glared at Wang Mang, gnashing her teeth. Finishing speaking, Tong Yen's figure flashed and disappeared. Seeing this scene, Anlan descended from the sky and landed beside Wang Mang. "How was it, Anlan?" Wang Mang couldn't help going forward to ask. Clearly, Wang Mang still wanted to know the result very much. Although Tong Yen said some harsh words to him before leaving, Wang Mang didn't care at all. He had Anlan, a Type 5 powerhouse, under his command. Tong Yen, this bitch, was nothing to fear. Anlan immediately stood with his hands behind his back and said with a calm face, "I merely use 10% of my strength. If not for the fact that she's a woman, I, Anlan, could easily suppress her with one hand." Hearing this guy's words, Wang Mang clearly couldn't believe all of it. Because this guy's information had written that this guy was the king of pretentiousness. Could the system make a mistake? Obviously not very likely. Thinking up to here, Wang Mang didn't believe this guy's words. But Wang Mang knew that Anlan won this battle. He immediately nodded in satisfaction and said, "Good. Not bad. With Anlan, I can go anywhere in the world." After hearing Wang Mang's words, Anlan's vanity was instantly greatly satisfied. He waved his hand lightly and said, You're too courteous, my lord. With me, Unlan, around, the sky won't fall. Even if the sky does fall, I, Unlan, only need one hand to hold up the sky. Although my memories are gone, there's a voice in the unseen world telling me that I, Unlan, have once even killed countless Type 9 powerhouses. After hearing this, Wang Mang instantly only wanted to laugh in his heart. Even the Lord God was merely a Type 8 existence. This guy had just reached Type 5, and he still boasted that he'd even killed many Type 9 powerhouses? Although Wang Mang's strength wasn't high, his experience was still very rich. According to the system's explanation, Type 9 was the highest. In the end, this guy really dared to boast. If this guy had even killed Type 9 powerhouses before, then it was impossible for the system to summon him. According to Wang Mang's guess, forget about Type 9. Whether or not the system could even summon a Type 8 powerhouse was a problem, as expected of the guy that the system called the King of Pretentious. Of course, Wang Mang definitely wouldn't expose him, because this guy's loyalty value hadn't reached 90. If it didn't reach 90, it would drop at any time along with his emotions. Thinking of this, Wang Mang instantly put on a shocked expression and laughed loudly. Good, good, good. With Enlon here, who would I be afraid of in this world? After hearing Wang Mang's words, Enlon was instantly elated. He couldn't help but raise his head slightly and pretend to be calm. In the next moment, the system's voice also sounded, ding! The host's act of flattery makes Enlon feel very good. Loyalty value +5, current loyalty value 85. Although he knew that he was flattering, but when the system said this, it still made Wang Mang feel a little awkward. However, Wang Mang didn't care. He only needed to get Enlan's loyalty value to him to 90. Thinking of this, Wang Mang immediately went up and put his hand on Enlan's shoulder. Let's go, Enlan. I'll bring you to familiarize yourself with Greenwood City. Hearing this, Enlan was instantly surprised. That huge city just now, is it Greenwood City? Wang Mang immediately nodded and smiled. That's right, that's Greenwood City. There are many Type 5 powerhouses in Greenwood City. Hearing this, Enlan immediately said with incomparable confidence, Lord, what's there to worry about? Type 5 powerhouses to me are like jumping clowns. I, Enlan, can kill as many as they come. If I, Enlan, want to, even if they are Type 5 powerhouses, I can kill them all with a flip of my hand. Chapter 597. Hearing this, Wang Mang couldn't help but be speechless. This bastard was really addicted to acting. Thinking of this, Wang Mang couldn't help but ask, how about this, Enlan? I think this Greenwood City is pretty good. How about you help me kill all the Stage 5 powerhouses in this Greenwood City, and we can control this Greenwood City together. Hearing Wang Mang's words, Enlan, who was feeling good about acting, was suddenly speechless. Enlan was even a little angry out of humiliation. At the same time, the system's voice sounded frowny-faced ding. Enlan is very dissatisfied with the host's behavior. Loyalty -10, current loyalty 75. Hearing the system's voice, Wang Mang couldn't help but gasp. F***ck. I just deliberately dissed him, and his loyalty dropped so much? Thinking of this, Wang Mang's forehead was dripping with sweat. He didn't doubt that if he dissed this guy a few more times, this Enlan would probably abandon him and leave. Thinking of this, looking at the somewhat stiff Enlan, Wang Mang smiled brightly. Haha, I was just joking, don't take it seriously. Hearing this, Enlan's expression eased a lot, and he couldn't help but say confidently, Master, this isn't a difficult matter if you really want to control Greenwood City. Enlan is willing to sweep away all obstacles and kill all the Stage 5 powerhouses. Hearing the other party start to boast again, Wang Mang really didn't have the strength to ridicule. He could only smile brightly. Don't be rash, Enlan, take it slow. How about this? "Unlan, I have a subordinate in the Chun family who wants to compete for one of the heirs, but he needs a stage 5 powerhouse to join the Chun family in name and support my subordinate. Unlan, if you really want to help me, you can join the Chun family first." Hearing Wang Mang's words, Unlan immediately said confidently, "Master, don't worry, it's just a small matter, no problem." Only then did Wang Mang let out a sigh of relief. This great master had finally agreed. At this time, the system's voice sounded again, frowny-faced Ding. Unlan is very satisfied with the host's pleasant attitude, loyalty +5, current loyalty 90. After hearing the system's voice, Wang Mang was speechless. He had finally discovered it. This dog was amenable to coaxing but not coercion. He could only go along with him, especially when Unlan was showing off. He had to cater to Unlan. Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to increase his loyalty. Thinking up to this point, Wang Mang chose to play along with Unlan's boasting on the way back to Cyanwood City. Even if this guy's bragging was too outrageous, Wang Mang chose to believe him. This also caused Unlan's loyalty to Wang Mang to skyrocket. At this moment, in Azurewood City, Unlan couldn't help but confidently say to Wang Mang, "My lord, this Cyanwood City is not bad. I, Anlin, will definitely completely suppress this Cyanwood City and hand it over to my lord to control." Hearing that, Wang Mang looked surprised. He laughed and said, "Good, good, good. I have Unlan, the world is at my fingertips." After hearing Wang Mang's pandering, Unlan's face was full of joy, but he was very guilty in his heart. However, his unreserved trust in Wang Mang made Unlan feel like he had found a confidant. At this moment, the system's voice also sounded. "Ding. Unlan's trust in the host is extremely touched, loyalty +1. Current loyalty 90, note. After 90 loyalty points you will never betray." After hearing the system's voice, Wang Mang finally cried tears of joy. F***ck, I finally managed to get Unlan's loyalty points up. At this point, he could finally sit back and relax, and he didn't have to worry about Unlan betraying and abandoning him. After that, Wang Mang returned to the Dongqing general's residence and ordered the old servant to bring Unlan to the Qin family. After sending Unlan away, Wang Mang's state of mind also changed. In general, Wang Mang was in a very good mood now. After all, with a stage 5 powerhouse as his subordinate, he also had a lot of confidence. The only fly in the ointment was that Unlan's strength was not too strong. But this was also Wang Mang's biggest trump card to establish himself in Greenwood City. So, of course, Wang Mang's mood was good. In the future, when facing a stage 5 powerhouse, he would not be too desperate and helpless. What made Wang Mang even happier was that, at night, the subordinate generals of the East City Gate, General Jin Men and General Yin Men, all came to the general's residence where Wang Mang was at. "Greetings, General Dongqing." After the two of them walked into Wang Mang's hall, they hurriedly cupped their hands respectfully. Hearing that, Wang Mang smiled and waved his hand, saying, "Get up. How is it? How's the gate fee today?" General Jin Men immediately said respectfully, reporting to General, "Today's gate fee has reached 500,000. Hearing that, Wang Mang's eyes lit up. "That's 500,000 a day. Wouldn't that be 5 million in 10 days? Didn't that mean that he would be able to earn 10 million immortal stones in 20 days? Thinking of this, Wang Mang immediately became excited. If this was a stable income, then, if he counted the gains from the Saint Emperor Academy's stall, Wang Mang could really lie down and earn money. Thinking of this, Wang Mang immediately nodded in satisfaction and said, "Good. Give me 350,000 immortal stones. The remaining 150,000 immortal stones, you can split them among yourselves. I'll keep my word, I'll give you 30%. After hearing Wang Mang's words, General Jin Men and General Yin Men looked at each other and said happily, "Thank you, General." Obviously, they did not expect that Wang Mang would be so generous. Wang Mang waved his hand with a smile and received the 350,000 immortal stones for today's gate fee. Just as Wang Mang was about to send the two of them away, General Ji Men hesitated for a moment and said in a low voice, "General, although today's harvest is not bad, but it seems to have a great impact. Many people even brought this matter to the East City Lord. Moreover, we offended a lot of people." Hearing that, Wang Mang said indifferently, "So what? If we offend them, so be it. If we don't offend them, we won't be able to get any immortal stones. Don't you think we should offend them? As long as there are benefits, offending them is offending them. If you want to get immortal stones and don't want to offend people, is there such a good thing for you? Besides, if something happens, I'll take care of it. What are you afraid of? Also, send my share of immortal stones every half a month." After hearing Wang Mang's words, the two of them pondered for a while and realized that it was true. That's right. Anyway, they were just following orders. If something really happened, there was still Wang Mang to take care of it. Thinking of this, the worries in their hearts immediately dissipated. Then, they left in a good mood and full of enthusiasm. In the blink of an eye, more than 10 days had passed. At this moment, Wang Mang was in the courtyard of the general's mansion, lying on the old man's chair and enjoying the night breeze. Suddenly, the system's voice sounded. "Ding! Congratulations, host! Mission successfully completed. Ding! Congratulations, host! Obtained 10 million energy points. Ding! Congratulations, host! Obtained an immortal level blind box X1. Ding! The accumulation has met the evolution conditions. Begin evolution?" Chapter 598. No! After hearing the system's voice, Wang Mang, who was enjoying himself with his eyes closed, was stunned and opened his eyes in surprise. He didn't expect to complete the mission just like that. Chen Kuan had successfully become one of the successors just like that? It seemed that it wasn't that difficult. It was probably after Lan successfully joined the Chen family. Chen Kuan also managed to convince another guest Grand Supreme Elder. Therefore, he successfully became one of the successors. Then, Wang Mang successfully won and completed the mission. Thinking of this, Wang Mang's mood was very happy. Not bad at all. He didn't even need to do this mission and it was completed. If there was such an easy mission, Wang Mang only hoped to give him a dozen. Not bad. This time, I'll send someone to collect the profits from the Saint Emperor Academy's stall. Then, after collecting the profits from the East Gate, I'll probably be able to evolve a few more times. After thinking of this, Wang Mang couldn't help but laugh. He felt that after this evolution, he wouldn't be far from rank 5. After thinking of this, Wang Mang was in a good mood. He raised his voice and said, "Anu." Anu was the old servant in the mansion. Last time, she was controlled by Wang Mang. These days, she had been dutiful and loyal to Wang Mang. She was obedient and smart. After walking into the courtyard, the old servant carefully asked, "This old servant is here. Master, what orders do you have?" "Anu. Go to the back door of the Saint Emperor Academy for me and find the Dog Emperor and the Black Bear Emperor at the pill stall. Tell them which portion of the immortal stones belongs to me. If they don't trust you, bring them to Azure Wood City." After hearing Wang Mang's words, the old servant immediately cupped his hands respectfully and said, "Master's decree." With that, the old servant respectfully left the courtyard and rushed towards the Saint Emperor Academy without stopping. At the same time, Wang Mang slowly got up from his chair and walked out of the mansion happily, heading towards the East City Gate. He decided to personally collect the entrance fee from the East Gate. At that time, when Anu collected the immortal stones from the stall at the back gate of the Saint Emperor Academy, he could peacefully enter seclusion to break through to a higher realm. However, when they arrived at the East City Gate military camp, they arrived at the tents belonging to General Ji Men and General E Men. When Wang Mang came in, General Ji Men and General E Men, who were frowning, suddenly stood up in shock and saluted. "Greetings, General Dongqing." Wang Mang nodded lightly when he heard this, and then he said indifferently, "How is it? It has been half a month. How many immortal stones have you obtained?" After hearing Wang Mang's words, General Ji Men and General E Men both sweated profusely. They lowered their heads and didn't dare to say anything. Seeing this, Wang Mang immediately frowned, and his face instantly darkened. "I'm asking you a question. How many immortal stones have you collected in the past half a month?" This. The two of them stammered in fear. They wanted to say something, but they didn't know what to say. Wang Mang's eyes were filled with killing intent, and he said coldly, "I'll give you one more chance. Answer my question honestly, or I'll let you die without a burial place." Hearing Wang Mang's words filled with killing intent, the two of them trembled. After looking at each other, they said in fear, reporting to the great general, "This is what happened. Just 2 days ago, the son of the Vice City Lord took away all the entrance fees collected in the past half a month. And he also said that all the entrance and exit fees in the future would be handed over to him." After hearing this, Wang Mang immediately flew into a rage. He raised his hand and slapped them. The vast manna directly caused the two of them to scream and fly backward. Even the tent was smashed down. The two of them crawled up from the ground in fear. The corners of their mouths were dripping with blood, and they looked at Wang Mang with fear in their eyes. "Get over here," Wang Mang said with a cold and ferocious face. The two of them walked over, trembling, and didn't dare to look at Wang Mang's eyes. "You have guts. It happened 2 days ago, and you're only telling me now. If I didn't come to ask personally, how long were you going to hide it from me? Looks like the two of you really want to die." After hearing Wang Mang's words, the two of them said in fear, "Sir, please spare us. Sir, please spare us." "Yes, sir, we have no other choice. The other party is the son of the Vice City Lord. If we offend him, I'm afraid we'll suffer a fate worse than death." Hearing this, Wang Mang immediately sneered, "You're afraid of him? Aren't you afraid that I'll let you die now?" As soon as Wang Mang finished speaking, the two of them were so scared that they fell to the ground, trembling all over. "Tell me what's going on with this so-called son of the Vice City Lord. I want to see what kind of backing he has to dare to steal my immortal stone." As he spoke, Wang Mang's face was distorted with anger. In their fear, the two of them finally explained everything that happened in Jiangchen. Wang Mang had a rough idea of what had happened. It turned out that the Vice City Lord was the son of the Holy Lord Lin Long. He was the culprit who stole his immortal stone. But what made Wang Mang feel troubled was that the Holy Lord, who was the Vice City Lord, was a Stage 5 expert. Not only that, the Holy Lord was also one of the competitors for the Vice City Lord position. But it didn't matter. Wang Mang also had a Stage 5 expert. Thinking of this, Wang Mang immediately summoned Anlan in his heart. As for why Wang Mang was willing to risk offending a Stage 5 expert just to get his immortal stone back, the main reason was that the immortal stones were quite a lot. It was a total of 6 million immortal stones. 6 million immortal stones. This amount of immortal stones was not a small amount to Wang Mang. After summoning Anlan, Wang Mang's cold eyes looked at the two generals, wondering if he should kill them. However, at that moment, Wang Mang suddenly felt the ground trembling. Wang Mang almost lost his footing. The trembling was too exaggerated, as if the mountains were collapsing. "Holy shit! What's going on?" Wang Mang immediately became somewhat bewildered. However, at that moment, the system's voice appeared. "Ding! Detected host's current condition. The host is given the following mission to choose from. Mission number 1. Ignore the tomb of the strongest Stage 5 young supreme in the history of the Sacred Emperor continent. Mission time. Available upon selection. Mission reward. 1 million energy points. Supreme Grade Blind Box X1. Mission number 2. Participate in the tomb of the strongest Stage 5 young supreme in the history of the Sacred Emperor Continent. Mission time, available upon completion. Mission reward, 2 million energy points. Immortal grade blind box X1. Mission number 3. Participate in the tomb of the strongest Stage 5 young supreme in the history of the Sacred Emperor Continent. Obtain one of the 8 great secret treasures. Mission time, available upon completion. Mission reward, 20 million energy points. Immortal grade blind box X1. Gentle reminder 1. This young supreme means that this young man was invincible among those of the same level during his time. He could be said to be invincible. Gentle reminder 2. This young supreme was a true supreme when he was at Stage 5. Looking at the myriad of worlds, from ancient times to the present, he can be ranked in the top 100 of Stage 5 powerhouses. Chapter 599. After listening to the system's voice, Wang Mang was completely stunned. He didn't expect that the entire mountain range would shake. It was actually related to the birth of the so-called 5th stage Youth Supreme Being's tomb. Moreover, after listening to the system's introduction, even Wang Mang couldn't help but feel shocked. Because this 5th stage Youth Supreme Being was too powerful. So powerful that the system gave him an extremely high evaluation, especially when he was above the 5th stage finger creation realm. He was actually able to enter the 10,000 realms, and could be ranked in the top 100 throughout history. What kind of concept was this? This meant that this 5th stage Youth Supreme Being's achievement was too high. Even in the entire history of the universe, among the strongest Stage 5 existences, he could be ranked in the top 100. But how big was the 10,000 realms? To be honest, Wang Mang didn't know either. But Wang Mang knew that it must be very, very big. But this 5th stage Youth Supreme Being was able to enter the top 100 of the 10,000 realms in the history of the 10,000 realms. For this, Wang Mang was very impressed. Although Wang Mang was indeed very arrogant. But this kind of existence was able to kill his way into the top 100 of the 10,000 realms in the 10,000 realms. Just this point alone was enough to cause difficulties for many geniuses and experts. Who knew how many 5th stage experts had died under the hands of this 5th stage Youth Supreme Being. In addition, what made Wang Mang even more excited was, the 5th stage Youth Supreme Being's tomb had appeared. Didn't this mean that he could also participate in it, or obtain the treasures left behind by this 5th stage Youth Supreme Being? Wang Mang roughly understood the meaning of the system's words. This so-called 5th stage Youth Supreme Being's tomb had indeed appeared. Moreover, this 5th stage Youth Supreme Being's 8 secret treasures had also appeared. Although he didn't know what kind of secret treasures they were, since they were the 5th stage Youth Supreme Being's secret treasures, he didn't need to guess to know that they were good things. Therefore, facing this mission, the first thing he eliminated was the mission's number 1 freeloading. After all, Wang Mang was indeed tempted by the tomb of a supreme youth. In particular, Wang Mang believed that his strength was extremely tyrannical in the same realm. How could he miss the tomb of such a supreme youth? Moreover, it was the tomb of a 5th-order youth sovereign. Wang Mang had no reason not to be moved. Therefore, the second mission could be ruled out. If it was just to participate, he might as well be whoring for free. Then Wang Mang's choice was obvious. That's right, he wanted to enter the tomb of this young sovereign and obtain one of the 8 great secret treasures of this young sovereign. With that thought, Wang Mang said in his heart without hesitation, "System, I choose the third mission." The next moment, the system's voice sounded. Ding! Congratulations, host. Mission selected successfully. Please complete the mission as soon as possible to receive the reward. After listening to the system's voice, Wang Mang secretly heaved a sigh of relief. He couldn't help but ask in his heart, "System, even geniuses have different levels?" The next moment the system's voice sounded. Ding! A warm reminder to the host. Geniuses also have different levels. They are peerless, exceptional, unparalleled, legendary, mythical, supreme. After listening to the system's classification of geniuses, Wang Mang was stunned. He really didn't expect that there would be so many classifications of geniuses. Just the classification of geniuses alone had a total of 5 levels. After coming back to his senses, Wang Mang quickly asked, "System, what about me? What level of genius am I?" The next moment, the system's voice sounded. A warm reminder to the host. Currently, the host is not even considered a peerless genius. After listening to the system's voice, Wang Mang was speechless. No. It could even be said that he had suffered a blow. Damn it, he was also very awesome, okay? He could at least hang up and beat up those of the same realm. How could he not even be considered a peerless genius? Just as Wang Mang was feeling dejected, the system's voice sounded again. Ding. A warm reminder to the host. After the host uses the top divine ability, Wrath of the Demon God, the host can reach the legendary Supreme Youth level. The system's words made Wang Mang speechless again. If he used the Wrath of the Demon God, he could reach the legendary Supreme Youth level. He knew that too. But the problem was, the price to pay for using the Wrath of the Demon God was too high. Unless there was something wrong with his head, he wouldn't use the Wrath of the Demon God to prove that he was a Supreme Youth. Although the title of Supreme Youth was indeed very awesome, the problem was that if it was a one-time experience, Wang Mang would rather not experience it. But from the system's answer, Wang Mang could roughly guess what the problem was. This so-called Supreme Youth was able to surpass the terrifying gap between those of the same realm and fight against the 9 heavens. In short, it was very awesome. This also made Wang Mang even more interested in this so-called Supreme Youth. But after calming down, Wang Mang also realized a problem. The appearance of the tomb of the rank 5 Supreme Youth would definitely attract a lot of powerhouses. Thinking of this, Wang Mang couldn't help but frown. Because Wang Mang guessed that the number of powerhouses attracted by the tomb of the rank 5 Supreme Youth would most likely be rank 5 powerhouses. Because rank 4 powerhouses didn't have the qualifications to compete with rank 5 powerhouses. Thinking of this, even if he brought Lan with him, it wouldn't be enough. Thinking of this, Wang Mang suddenly felt a headache. At the same time, Wang Mang also felt that before he went to the tomb of the Supreme Youth, it would be best for him to increase his strength. Even if he couldn't reach rank 5, he should try his best to get close to it. Thinking of this, Wang Mang couldn't help but ask, "System, how much longer until the tomb of the Supreme Youth opens? Where is the approximate location?" In the next moment, the system's voice sounded frowny face, a warm reminder to the host. The tomb of the Supreme Youth isn't that easy to enter. You need to break the boundary of the tomb set up by the Supreme Youth. This will take some time. The host is advised to go to the tomb of the Supreme Youth within half a month. The tomb of the Supreme Youth is located in the depths of the Million Mountains. After hearing the system's voice, Wang Mang heaved a sigh of relief. Fortunately, it wasn't so soon. He still had time to prepare. At this moment, the familiar terrifying aura in the sky descended, causing the surrounding air to surge rapidly. In the next moment, Lan appeared in front of Wang Mang. He was still standing with his hands clasped behind his back, and his aura was exceptionally strong. When he saw Wang Mang, he just nodded slightly. Regarding this guy's rude behavior, Wang Mang naturally didn't care at all. Expecting a pretentious guy to bow down to him? This was obviously impossible. Even if the system could make Lan follow him, it was still very difficult to make such a pretentious guy change his nature. Because, even if the system removed all his memories, but Lan still remembered his pretentious lines. A king can't be humiliated. Even if I have to carry Heaven Abyss, I still have to carry the original Imperial City. I, Lan, am still invincible in the world. The Red Spear, the Immortal Shield, the immortal king and the 9 heavens. The peak of the immortal realm, proud of the world, as long as I, Unlan, am there. Chapter 600. Master, why are you looking for me, Unlan? Unlan said indifferently with his hands behind his back. He gave people the feeling that he was full of vigor. Those who didn't know would think that Unlan was the master and Wang Mang was the servant. Wang Mang said slowly, "Come with me. Let's go see our East Vice City Lord. Our East Deputy City Lord's son dares to snatch my immortal stones. I want to see how capable he is." At this point, Wang Mang's eyes were cold and murderous. Hearing this, Unlan was instantly enraged and said with a cold expression, "My lord, this Deputy City Lord Dong is such a big dog egg. He dares to do this." "Master, don't worry. With me, Unlan, here, whether he is the East Deputy City Lord or the City Lord, I, Unlan, will suppress him with one hand." After hearing this, Wang Mang was satisfied. With Unlan, he had more confidence in going to East Deputy City Lord. At the same time, General Jin Men and General In Men, who were trembling on the ground not far away, were completely stunned. They finally understood why the newly appointed Great General of the East City Gate was so arrogant and lawless. No wonder Wang Mang didn't put this East Deputy City Lord in his eyes. It turned out that he had a Stage 5 powerhouse as his subordinate. If they had a Stage 5 powerhouse as their subordinate, they would be so arrogant and confident. Originally, they thought that Wang Mang's side was the weak side, so they chose to give Wang Mang's share of millions of immortal stones to the East Deputy City Lord's son without hesitation. But looking at the current situation, they simply kicked a steel plate. It couldn't be said that Wang Mang was strong, but the strength of Wang Mang's side was not inferior to the East Deputy City Lord at all. Thinking of this, the two of them were in despair. Because they didn't know what fate they were about to face. The East Deputy City Lord had the right to decide their life and death. It was even easy for him to kill them. At the same time, Wang Mang's side was completely offended by them. At the same time, Wang Mang, who was preparing to go to the Deputy City Lord's mansion, couldn't help but glance at the two of them. Although Wang Mang understood their cowardice, he would not let them off easily. In addition, Wang Mang also needed these two guys to identify him. This was actually Wang Mang's precautionary measure. If this East Vice City Lord's strength was too tyrannical, Wang Mang would still have room to deal with him. After all, the fact that the East Vice City Lord was able to compete for the North City Lord's position proved that he was not weak. Therefore, Wang Mang's plan was to fight if he could win. If he couldn't win, he would reason it out. "You two dogs, why aren't you leading the way to the East Vice City Lord's mansion? Could it be that you want me to help you up personally?" After hearing Wang Mang's words, General Jin Men and General In Men were so scared that they almost fainted. Because how could they not understand Wang Mang's meaning? In a world where the strong preyed on the weak, they were able to muddle their way to Stage 4. They did not have a strong aptitude. To be able to muddle their way to this step, there was an element of luck. Now that Wang Mang asked them to lead the way to the East Vice City Lord's mansion, it was simply forcing them to become friends with the East Vice City Lord and become enemies. At that time, it would be hard to say whether they would live or die. Unfortunately, they did not have the slightest choice now. The two of them stood up with a numb face, left the barracks, and began to lead the way. Half an hour later, Wang Mang and Unlan successfully arrived at the East Vice City Lord's mansion under the lead of these two young generals. At this moment, in the East Vice City Lord's mansion, in the hall, a middle-aged man with a tyrannical aura was sitting on the main seat in the hall. Although he had concealed his terrifying aura very well, there was still a faint pressure circulating around his body. Obviously, he was the East Vice City Lord, the sacred leader. When Wang Mang, Unlan, and the two nameless young generals walked into the hall. No, to be precise, the moment Unlan appeared. The sacred leader on the main seat in the hall narrowed his eyes slightly, then laughed and stood up. How did I know that a magpie would come this morning? It turns out that the general of the East Vice City Lord is here. Hearing this, Wang Mang's heart suddenly sank, and he secretly became vigilant. This old man was not easy to deal with. Moreover, Wang Mang could feel a strong sense of threat from him. This sense of threat was not lower than the sense of threat that Enlon gave him. It could be said that only the East Vice City Lord gave Wang Mang a stronger sense of pressure than the East Vice City Lord and Enlon. Thinking of this, Wang Mang immediately smiled and cupped his hands. Greetings, East Vice City Lord. I will not visit you without a reason. Hearing this, the sacred leader felt helpless. After all, he was a Grand Luo powerhouse and could deduce. Before Wang Mang came, he had already deduced that he was entangled in karma. The karmic entanglement here was not just a mere Tier 4 existence. A Stage 4 existence was not qualified to be entangled in karma with a Stage 5 existence like him. A Stage 5 severing karma was not just for show. These Stage 5 powerhouses could really sever karma. However, if one was also entangled in karma with a Stage 5 existence, there was no way to sever it, unless the other party was willing. Otherwise, it was impossible to sever karma easily. Karma represented many things, such as love, hatred, and so on. Now, he was facing two choices. The first was to deny it and completely break off his hostility with Wang Mang. The second was to spit out all the immortal stones that his son had taken from Wang Mang to resolve the conflict. After pondering for a moment, the sacred leader finally decided to resolve the conflict with Wang Mang. He did not care about Wang Mang, but Enlon that Wang Mang brought made him have no choice but to be cautious. In addition, Enlan's other identity was the Chun family's guest grand elder. He naturally knew this news. It could be said that every Stage 5 powerhouse that appeared in Azurewood City, they would basically figure out their background in the shortest amount of time. Therefore, although he did not know how close the relationship between Wang Mang and Enlon was, however, since Wang Mang could directly invite Enlon over today, the relationship between the two was self-evident. In his view, Enlon was willing to stand on Wang Mang's side. If he could not reconcile with Wang Mang, there would definitely be a great battle between the two sides. If it were in the past, the sacred leader would not care. However, it was different now. Firstly, he needed to compete for the position of Azurewood City's North City Lord. Secondly, there was a strange movement in the depths of the Million Great Mountain Range not long ago. An unknown major event would probably happen in the next few days. Therefore, at this juncture, he did not want to cause more trouble. He smiled brightly and said, "My son is not sensible. He has made you come." As he spoke, the sacred leader waved his sleeve, and a Qianquan bag appeared in front of Wang Mang. Seeing this, Wang Mang took the Qianquan bag. After checking it, he found that there were 7 million immortal stones in it. He smiled and said, "East City Lord, you are too polite. I have disturbed you for such a small matter. It is rude of me to disturb you. Lord City Lord, you are busy every day. I will not disturb you." After saying this with a smile, Wang Mang cupped his hands and said a few polite words. Then, he left the East Deputy City Lord mansion. After returning to his own mansion at the East City Gate, what made Wang Mang smile was that Anu, who he sent out, had returned. Moreover, she brought the Dog Emperor back. After seeing Wang Mang, the Dog Emperor, who had been waiting in the courtyard, immediately got up and said with a smile, "Brother Wang Mang, you are finally here. I have been waiting for so long that the flowers have withered. Here. This is our offering for the past half a month. It is a total of 3 million immortal stones. The Dog Bear Emperor and I shared 1 million of them. This is the remaining 2 million immortal stones." Chapter 601. Not bad. Wang Mang beamed as he took the Heaven-Earth pouch and checked the number of Heaven-Earth stones inside. Wang Mang nodded in satisfaction when he saw that the number of immortal stones had not decreased. "All right. I have a purple crystal divine source worth 2 million heaven-earth stones. I think you should have a lot of heaven-earth stones with you. Then I'll sell it to you at a fair price. Wang Mang took out the purple crystal divine source he had won last time and handed it to the Dog Emperor. Then, he smiled and rubbed his hands, indicating that the other party should pay up. The Dog Emperor's face froze and he forced a smile. He resisted the urge to examine the purple god crystal materials and reluctantly took out 2 million purple crystals. Brother Wang Mang, if there's nothing else, I'll leave first. Obviously, the Dog Emperor did not want to stay any longer. He was afraid that if he stayed any longer, Wang Mang would come up with something else and sell it to him at a fair price. This 5th-grade material was real, and it was worth 2 million heaven-earth stones. However, if Wang Mang sold it to him at a fair price, he would not get any benefits at all. Instead, he would have to sell it himself. To the Dog Emperor, who would not do anything without benefits, this was an arduous and thankless task. Wang Mang chuckled and chatted with the Dog Emperor for a while before sending the Dog Emperor away. After the Dog Emperor left, Anlan naturally left as well. Only Wang Mang and the old servant were left in the huge mansion. Wang Mang, on the other hand, did not say anything else. He turned around and walked toward the residence where he cultivated. That was because the heaven-earth stones and energy points he had accumulated so far had probably exceeded 30 million. This was not just empty talk from Wang Mang. He had already accumulated close to 20 million energy points. In addition to the heaven-earth stones he had obtained, he indeed had 30 million energy points. This did not include the treasure chests and blind boxes. Therefore, Wang Mang was looking forward to it. What level would his strength reach after this evolution? With that thought, Wang Mang impatiently chanted in his heart. System, open my personal information. The next moment, his personal information appeared before his eyes. Wang Mang, disciple of the sage-to-be General Long Wei. Type, Void Python, limit, 700 meters, cultivation, 31,000 years, 5th heavenly layer immortal venerable, build. HP 5500, energy 5500, length 620 meters, width 31 meters, weight 6,400,000 tons. Ordinary divine abilities. God-controlling seal, void hand, void blade, void evasion, single step, myriad transformations. Peak theurgy. Trileva's Buddha, small mastery. Hongjun 3 corpses technique, none. Wrath of the fiend god, perfection. Space. Pinnacle World Multicolored Stone X1, High-Grade World Card X1, Pinnacle World Card X1, Tier 5 Pill Recipe X1, One-Time Pinnacle Unlucky Card X1, Blood Recovery Pill X1, Vitality Recovery Pill X1, Forgotten Love Water X1, Divine Martial Sword, Extreme Grade Blind Box X1, Immortal Grade Blind Box X2, 12. 5 million Immortal Stones. Luck, 299, Heavenly Fortune. Energy, 18 million/10 million. After looking at his personal information, Wang Mang could not help but be overjoyed. He did not expect that the accumulated gains would be more than he had imagined. When he thought of this, Wang Mang impatiently said, System, convert 12. 5 million immortal stones into energy. The next moment the system's voice sounded. Ding. Congratulations, host. Successfully converted 12. 5 million immortal stones. Ding. Congratulations, host. You have received 12. 5 million energy. Ding. Accumulate to meet the evolution conditions. Begin evolution? No. After hearing the system's voice, Wang Mang was even happier. Not bad, not bad. This way, his accumulated energy would reach 35 million. However, he was not in a hurry to evolve because he still had a few blind boxes to deal with. After he dealt with the blind boxes, he would at least be able to obtain another 10 million energy, right? By then, 3 consecutive evolutions would definitely be safe, and even 4 consecutive evolutions would be possible. Once Wang Mang evolved 4 times in a row, his strength would completely reach the peak of the Immortal Prime stage. What kind of concept was the peak of the Immortal Prime stage? He was only 1 step away from becoming a Stage 5 powerhouse. If he really had such strength, Wang Mang would have more confidence in protecting himself before he went to the tomb of the young Supreme Being. Thinking of this, Wang Mang said in his heart, "System, open the top-grade blind box." The next moment, the system's voice sounded. Ding! Congratulations, host. Successfully opened the top-grade blind box. Ding! Congratulations, host. You have received a box of Viagra. What the hell? Viagra? Do I even need this stuff? Who will I use it against? Against Tong Nian? Will I be able to make her cry for her parents? But the problem was that Wang Mang was willing to try the effect of the medicine. But he could not beat Tong Nian, that be *tch. Thinking of this, Wang Mang was speechless. This top-grade blind box felt like he was going to lose out. It was so fancy right from the start. Just as Wang Mang was feeling depressed, the system's voice sounded for the second time. Ding! Congratulations, host. You have received a Sky Piercer. Hearing the system's second announcement, Wang Mang was speechless. This ordinary mortal-grade refined weapon was of no use to him. Come on, he was now a Stage 4 powerhouse. Another minute later, the system's voice sounded for the third time. Ding! Congratulations, host. You have received a piece of Tong Nian's original underwear. Good heavens! Eternal Underwear Series. Wang Mang was really speechless. Even Tong Nian's underwear was here. Could it be that the red and golden threads of the marriage pool were really destined? Was he destined to have something to do with this *tch in the future? Just as Wang Mang's expression was uncertain, the system's voice sounded for the fourth time. Ding! Congratulations, host. You have received 5 pieces of Junior Tong Xian's original underwear. Good heavens! Sister's underwear had just arrived. Now his sister's was here too. Wang Mang was also a little helpless. He felt that this top-grade blind box was really going to be wasted. There were a total of 6 announcements, and 4 of them had already been trash. There were only 2 chances left. If he got 2 more trash in a row. If that was the case, then this top-grade blind box would be the worst of the worst. A minute later, Wang Mang was waiting gloomily. The system's voice sounded for the 5th time. Ding! Congratulations, host. You have received a piece of Ruthless Emperor's original underwear. After listening to the system's 5th announcement, Wang Mang finally couldn't help but break down. What the *CK was this thing? To be honest, Wang Mang admitted that he had never opened such a trash top-grade blind box. Out of the 6 announcements, 5 of them had been trash. For a moment, Wang Mang couldn't help but curse in his heart. System, I beg you to be a human. *CK, what kind of things did a top-grade blind box get? King opened a lonely box. To be honest, at this moment, Wang Mang was a little suspicious. This system, could it be a complete pervert? Otherwise, why would it specially make these things? Thinking of this, Wang Mang wanted to cry but had no tears. System, take it as me begging you. Be more serious. I beg you to stop making these underwear. Just as Wang Mang was silently praying, the system's voice sounded for the 6th time. Ding! Congratulations, host. You have received 1,000. Chapter 602. Ding! Congratulations, host. Successfully obtained 10 million energy values. Good. Very good. After listening to the system's voice, Wang Mang almost couldn't hold back his tears of joy. Damn it, he finally saw the energy values. Before he got the 10 million energy values, Wang Mang was afraid that the system would give him 1,000 evolution points or 1,000 energy values. Now, he had obtained 10 million energy values. Wang Mang's accumulation had also reached 40 million energy values. Thinking of this, Wang Mang became even more excited. 4 consecutive evolutions were just around the corner. For a moment, Wang Mang was in a very good mood. The gloominess of the previous 5 trashy prizes was also swept away. Then, Wang Mang couldn't help but say in his heart, "System, open the immortal level blind box." In the next moment, the system's voice sounded frowny-face ding. "Congratulations, host. Successfully opened the immortal level blind box." Ding. "Congratulations, host. Obtained a piglet born from a human immortal level old sow." A piglet born from an immortal level old sow? What did this have to do with him? What was the use of giving him a piglet? At this moment, Wang Mang couldn't laugh anymore. He had just opened the immortal level blind box, and this kind of situation had happened. He was worried that the immortal level blind box this time would be very difficult. Just as Wang Mang was worried, the system's voice sounded for the second time frowny-face ding. "Congratulations, host. Obtained a piece of Pan Jinlian's original underwear modified by a human immortal level expert." Good heavens! It's here again. Underwear again. To be honest, once again it was the underwear. Wang Mang was really a little flustered, because once the underwear appeared, it meant that it wouldn't be a single appearance, but a continuous appearance. While Wang Mang was worried, a minute quickly passed. The system's voice sounded for the third time frowny-face ding. "Congratulations, host. You have obtained Su Daji's original underwear." When he heard that the third prize was going to be drawn, Wang Mang was also helpless. His premonition was not wrong. At the same time, Wang Mang began to worry. Would this immortal grade blind box open better than the best grade blind box? Before long, the system's voice sounded for the fourth time frowny-face ding. "Congratulations, host. Obtained a pair of Master Roshi's underwear." Master Roshi's underwear? Master Roshi from Dragon Ball? Wang Mang was speechless again. He didn't expect that underwear would appear instead of underwear. "System, I beg you. You must have gotten the energy value. Don't do all these fancy things. If you go on like this, we won't even have the chance to evolve." Wang Mang's heart was filled with grief and indignation. He kept praying. At this moment, the system's voice sounded for the fifth time frowny-face ding. "Congratulations, host. Obtained a pair of Zhu Beiji's underwear." F***CK. F***CK your grandpa system. This immortal grade blind box had already opened 3 pieces of underwear. Just as Wang Mang was about to collapse, the system's voice sounded for the 6th time frowny-face ding. "Congratulations, host. Obtained 500,000 energy value." After listening to the system's voice, Wang Mang finally felt a lot better. This small amount of energy value was a bit of comfort for Wang Mang. Now, as long as it didn't crazily open his underwear, it would be fine. 1 minute later, the system's voice sounded for the 7th time frowny-face ding. "Congratulations, host. Obtained 2 million energy value." Not bad. Not bad. It's finally normal. Wang Mang secretly heaved a sigh of relief. He no longer had any hope for this immortal grade blind box. It opened 1 energy value, just 1. Just when Wang Mang thought that the immortal grade blind box was over. At this moment, the system's voice sounded for the 8th time frowny-face ding. "Congratulations, host. Obtained. Thank you for participating." F***CK. Thank you for participating. This was definitely the first time Wang Mang opened this thing. He had never heard of it before. Thank you for participating. What the hell was going on? Could it be a new trick from the system? Thinking of this, Wang Mang felt very tired. An immortal grade blind box actually only opened 5 million energy value. This was really King 250. All, in Wang Mang's opinion, this immortal grade blind box was a huge loss. This was not as good as the previous top-grade blind box. Finally, it was all over. Wang Mang's current accumulated energy value was only 43 million. He was probably still short of 4 evolutions. Now, he only had 1 immortal grade blind box left. If he continued to lose, then it would be difficult for Wang Mang to evolve 4 times in a row. Thinking of this, Wang Mang took a deep breath and adjusted his state of mind before saying, "System, continue to open the immortal grade blind box." The next moment, the system's voice sounded again. Frowny face ding. "Congratulations, host. Successfully opened the immortal grade blind box." Ding. "Congratulations, host. Successfully obtained 1 million energy value." Not bad, not bad. There wasn't much energy value, but this was a good sign. In Wang Mang's opinion, the first draw basically determined the quality of the blind box. Therefore, although the first draw was small, Wang Mang was still very happy. A minute later, the system's voice sounded for the second time. Frowny face ding. "Congratulations, host. Obtained 1 million energy value." Not bad. Wang Mang nodded secretly. A minute later, the system's voice sounded for the third time. Frowny face ding. "Congratulations, host. Successfully obtained an immortal mountain blessed land in the sacred Emperor continent." Immortal mountain blessed land? This thing was completely useless to Wang Mang, alright? After all, there were too many immortal mountains and blessed lands in the entire sacred Emperor continent. Just in the millions of mountains, Wang Mang could find an immortal mountain blessed land at any time. Therefore, Wang Mang was not interested in this so-called immortal mountain blessed land at all. At this moment, the system's voice sounded for the fourth time. Frowny face ding. "Congratulations, host. Obtained a bottle of level 3 low-grade medicinal pills, spirit fortifying pills." What was the use of level 3 medicinal pills? After hearing the system's announcement again, Wang Mang felt even more helpless. He was now at the peak of level 4. Level 3 medicinal pills were useless to him at all. Moreover, even if he sold them, he would not be able to sell them for much immortal stones. Therefore, Wang Mang was not interested in this small amount of money at all. Just as Wang Mang was feeling helpless, the system's voice sounded for the fifth time. Frowny face ding. "Congratulations, host. Obtained 2 million energy value." Not bad, not bad. He obtained another 2 million energy value. This also allowed Wang Mang to accumulate 47 million energy value. The fourth evolution should be safe. Just as Wang Mang was secretly calculating, the system's voice sounded for the sixth time. Frowny face ding. "Congratulations, host. Obtained 3 million energy value." Not bad, not bad. The accumulated energy value had exceeded 50 million. This immortal rank blind box was not a loss. He had obtained 7 million energy value from it. For a moment, Wang Mang was in a good mood. A minute later, the system's voice sounded for the seventh time. Frowny face ding. "Congratulations, host. Obtained 5 million energy value." After hearing the system's voice, Wang Mang was elated again. Awesome, awesome! Wang Mang did not expect that he would obtain 5 million energy value in the end. This way, his fourth evolution was definitely safe. Just as Wang Mang thought that the announcement was over, the system's voice sounded for the eighth time. Frowny face ding. "Congratulations, host. Obtained." Chapter 603. Ding. "Congratulations, host. You've obtained a piece of Medusa's original underwear." After listening to the system's voice, Wang Mang was speechless again. Good heavens! The last time the system opened a prize, it still gave him underwear. However, Wang Mang was not as angry as before, because his energy value alone had reached 55 million. 4 consecutive evolutions were a foregone conclusion. Therefore, Wang Mang was in a good mood. Thinking of this, Wang Mang could not help but feel happy in his heart. System. Begin the evolution. The next moment, the system's voice sounded. Ding. 10 million energy value has been successfully deducted. Beginning evolution. After that, Wang Mang completely lost consciousness in the midst of evolution. When Wang Mang woke up again, it had already been more than half a month. Wang Mang, who slowly opened his eyes, immediately discovered the changes in his body. Now in this body, he could feel that the vast magic power was almost endless. Of course, this didn't mean that his spiritual energy was limitless. It was just that compared to before, the degree of improvement was too great. Moreover, Wang Mang knew. Once he reached the 5th level, his magic power was really endless. In addition, Wang Mang felt that his physical body had become even stronger. The divinity in his body was even more terrifying. It could even be said that if Wang Mang died, even if his corpse was immortal for tens of thousands of years, it would be easy. In addition, Wang Mang's various aspects had almost undergone a leap. In addition, it was worth mentioning, Wang Mang successfully completed 4 consecutive evolutions this time. The first evolution cost 10 million energy value. The second evolution cost 12 million energy value. The third evolution cost 14 million energy value. The fourth evolution cost 16 million energy value. The 4 evolutions cost a total of 52 million energy value. It could be said that after the evolution, Wang Mang only had 3 million energy value left. After taking a deep breath, Wang Mang said in a good mood, "System, open my personal information." The next moment, his personal information appeared before his eyes. Wang Mang, disciple of the sage-to-be, General Long Wei. Type, Void Python, limit. 700 meters, cultivation, 33,000 years, 9th heavenly layer immortal venerable, build. HP 5900, energy 5900, length 636 meters, width 31 meters, weight 8 million tons. Ordinary divine abilities. God-controlling seal, void hand, void blade, void evasion, single step, myriad transformations. Peak theurgy. Trileva's Buddha, small mastery. Hongjun 3 corpses technique, none. Wrath of the fiend god, perfection. Space. Pinnacle World Multicolored Stone X1, High-Grade World Card X1, Pinnacle World Card X1, Level 5 Pill Recipe X1, One-Time Pinnacle Unlucky Card X1, Blood Recovery Pill X1, Vitality Recovery Pill X1, Forgotten Love Water X1, Divine Martial Sword X1. Luck, 299, Heavenly Fortune. Energy value, 3 million/200 million. After reading his personal information, Wang Mang almost peed in his pants. F***CK. 200 million? 200 million energy values? F***CK. Even a 9th heaven immortal venerable would only have 18 million energy values. A 9th heaven immortal venerable would need so much to upgrade to level 5? To be honest, Wang Mang was really shocked. This 200 million energy values. It was really despairing. This level of upgrade was too exaggerated. 200 million. How long would he have to work hard for? Just thinking about it, Wang Mang couldn't help but feel dispirited. But right at this moment, Wang Mang suddenly felt Anlan's familiar aura appear. This immediately made Wang Mang come back to his senses and quickly got up to leave the place of seclusion. After arriving at the courtyard of the mansion, Wang Mang saw Anlan, who was anxiously waiting for him. After seeing Anlan, Wang Mang couldn't help but be stunned. "What's wrong, Anlan? Why are you in such a hurry?" "My lord, you've finally appeared. Greenwood City's level 5 powerhouses have all gone to the depths of the Million Mountains. It seems that something big has happened there, or a powerhouse's tomb has been born. Right now, not just Greenwood City, many level 5 powerhouses are gathering over there. Speaking up to hear, Anlan said somewhat impatiently, "My lord, when are we setting off?" After hearing Anlan's words, Wang Mang was immediately startled too. Only then did he remember that he spent quite a bit of time in seclusion to break through realm. Thinking up to here, Wang Mang immediately said without the slightest hesitation, "Set off immediately." Hearing that, only then did Anlan let out a sigh in relief. Putting a hand on Wang Mang's shoulder, he said excitedly, "My lord, let's set off right now." Finished talking, Anlan's figure moved, pulling Wang Mang and disappearing into thin air. Half an hour later, when Wang Mang and Anlan appeared once more, they already arrived at a stretch of wilderness mountain forest that stretched as far as the eye could see. But Wang Mang and Anlan slowed down their footsteps. The reason was none other than that the auras of level 5 powerhouses in the vicinity of this mountain range were too many. Just what Wang Mang sensed was no less than several dozen level 5 powerhouses auras. This also made Wang Mang involuntarily tremble with fear. F***ck. Wasn't the number of level 5 powerhouses too much? Why did it feel like level 5 powerhouses were as worthless as cabbages now? Similarly, it was not just Wang Mang who was worried. Even the boundlessly arrogant Anlan's expression also became solemn. Especially the deeper they rushed into the depths of this mountain range, the more cautious Anlan became. On the surface, he still looked like he was number one in the world. But Wang Mang could clearly feel that this guy was very cautious. This also made Wang Mang secretly nod his head in satisfaction. Although this guy liked to boast quite a lot. But he also had the caution and so on that a powerhouse should have. Very soon, Wang Mang and Anlan came to the vicinity of a large river. But when Wang Mang saw the powerhouses that had already gathered nearby, he could not help sucking in a breath of cold air even more. A total of more than 200 level 5 powerhouses. If not for Wang Mang being sure that he did not see wrongly, he almost thought that he was seeing things. Yes, a total of more than 200 level 5 powerhouses had gathered. Countless terrifying auras made Wang Mang even more frightened. In addition, Wang Mang also saw among these level 5 powerhouses the East City Lord and the East Deputy City Lord. The next moment, Wang Mang's heart moved and rushed towards the East City Lord's location. Similarly, Anlan, who followed behind Wang Mang, also followed. After arriving near the East Deputy City Lord, Wang Mang was surprised to find that there was a small group of people in the East City Lord's vicinity. There was also a small group of 6 Stage 5 powerhouses around the East City Lord. In addition, Wang Mang did not know the rest of them, only the East Deputy City Lord and the East City Lord. After seeing Wang Mang, the East City Lord's eyes flashed with a trace of surprise, then he laughed and said, "Wang Mang, since you are here, this old man will not say much. When the tomb opens, you will go in with this old man. The more people there are, the better to take care of each other." "Oh right, let me introduce you, these are the other City Lords and Deputy City Lords." Hearing this, Wang Mang very humbly cupped his hands and said, "Greetings to all the City Lords and Deputy City Lords." Hearing this, the rest of the level 5 powerhouses nodded slightly at Wang Mang. However, one of the young men, with his arms crossed in front of him, mocked with a deadpan expression. Young people nowadays are getting bolder and bolder, and they don't have any self-awareness at all. Look at all the powerhouses here. Which one of them does not have the strength of level 5? You think a level 4 ant like you is qualified to compete with us for the opportunity? Chapter 604. After hearing the young man's words, Wang Mang's face suddenly stiffened, and the corners of his mouth twitched. He was very angry in his heart. "Damn it, I didn't provoke you, why are you making things difficult for me?" However, although Wang Mang was angry, he didn't show it, because the other party was a Stage 5 expert after all. Wang Mang admitted that he couldn't win against the other party. Moreover, this guy was very likely to be a Deputy City Lord. Therefore, even with Anlan here, it was a thankless task. But just as Wang Mang was about to admit defeat, Anlan, who was beside him, said with a cold expression, "Who do you think you are? Do you think you are very strong? You just broke through to stage 5 not long ago. Do you believe that I, Anlan, can still suppress you with one hand even if I have to carry the original Imperial City and Heaven Abyss?" Speaking of this, Anlan stood with his hands behind his back, his expression indifferent and proud, and slowly waved at the other party. Hearing this, the Sacred Lord took a deep look at Anlan. He could feel that Anlan had not reached the mid-stage of the Zenith Heaven realm, but he could still give him a sense of threat that was not inferior to that. This also proved that Anlan, who was beside Wang Mang, was indeed not to be underestimated. This was also one of the reasons why he let the matter rest. However, seeing that Wang Mang and the West Deputy City Lord were in conflict, he did not speak up to help Wang Mang. Although the two of them did not have a feud after the previous incident, it was just a superficial relationship. "You humph." Feeling the tyrannical aura around Anlan, the West Deputy City Lord was furious, but he snorted coldly and did not speak anymore. Because he really couldn't beat Anlan. Perhaps it was a little difficult for Anlan to kill him, but it was still relatively easy for Anlan to beat him up. This was because although Anlan's strength was only at the 3rd heaven of the Zenith Heaven realm, his combat strength was very heaven-defying, and he could reach the mid-stage of the Zenith Heaven realm. Such strength was already very tyrannical among the Zenith Heaven realm. It was not even an exaggeration to call Anlan a half-step legendary prodigy. In addition, the basic condition of a legendary prodigy was to be able to easily suppress and surpass an expert within 2 small realms. The basic requirement to become a peerless genius was to be able to easily suppress and surpass an expert within 3 minor realms. The basic requirement to become an unparalleled genius was to be able to easily suppress and surpass experts within 4 minor realms. The basic requirement for becoming a young legend was to be able to easily suppress and surpass one's own strength by 5 small realms. The basic requirement for becoming a young legend was to be able to easily suppress and surpass oneself by 7 small realms. The basic requirement to become a young supremacy was to be able to easily suppress and surpass one's own strength by 9 small realms. How did Wang Mang know about this? He had the system, so he knew the answer as soon as he asked. It was only after knowing the system's answer that Wang Mang understood why he couldn't become a peerless genius. This was because Wang Mang's current strength had reached the 9th heaven of the immortal venerable realm. Within 2 small realms, it meant that he could suppress an immortal emperor, grand heavenly existence. But could Wang Mang defeat a level 5 Grand Luo? There was no doubt that they couldn't beat him, unless he used the Fiend God's fury. Alright, stop quarreling. There will be more level 5 Grand Luo coming later. We should unite. At this moment the East City Lord spoke slowly. Hearing this, both the West Vice City Lord and Anlan stopped talking. Seeing this scene, Wang Mang quietly used information detection on the East City Lord. The next moment, the old man's information appeared before his eyes. Target: East City Lord, Feng Qingyang Realm. 8th Heaven of the Immortal Emperor Realm. Divine Ability. Combat Strength. After reading the old City Lord's information, Wang Mang couldn't help but be secretly surprised. This old man's strength was amazing. He had reached the 8th heaven of the immortal Emperor realm. No wonder Anlan also quieted down when this old man spoke. Anlan's strength was only at the 3rd heaven of the immortal Emperor realm. As for the West Vice City Lord, needless to say, Anlan had just said it. This guy's strength had just broken through to the 5th heaven, so he was probably at the 1st heaven of the immortal Emperor realm. Thinking of this, Wang Mang muttered to himself, "Looks like I can't easily offend this old city lord for now." In addition, Wang Mang also looked at the level 5 experts nearby. He realized that among these level 5 experts, there were many who were much stronger than the old city lord. Especially those who were stronger than the old city lord. Their auras made Wang Mang tremble. Wang Mang was even sure that these auras were more terrifying than Feng Qingyang's. Their strength had definitely surpassed the immortal Emperor realm. They might have even reached the sacred Emperor realm. Therefore, Wang Mang became even more cautious. This was because the level 5 Supreme Youth's tomb had attracted too many experts. Thinking of this, Wang Mang couldn't help but ask, "East City Lord, what kind of expert's tomb is this?" Hearing this, Feng Qingyang was stunned. Then, he couldn't help but mumble to himself, He is the pride of the sacred Emperor continent. When he was born, he was invincible. He suppressed the entire sacred Emperor continent of the same level. He was invincible in the entire sacred Emperor continent. It can be said that in his era, the entire sacred Emperor continent was beaten into submission by him. They didn't dare to act rashly. How strong do you think he was? How strong was he? However, such a world-shaking and invincible existence still fell in the end. A long time after he left the sacred Emperor continent, he came back one day and passed away in the Million Mountains. In the blink of an eye, a week had passed. Wang Mang was still immersed in Feng Qingyang's story of this young supreme youth's glorious deeds. It wasn't just Wang Mang. The other city lords and even quite a few stage 5 powerhouses were listening attentively. Obviously, this young supreme youth's past was not known by all level 5 experts. At the same time, Wang Mang also understood how heaven-defying this young supreme youth was. No, heaven-defying could no longer be used to describe him. This young supreme youth had risen in the sacred Emperor continent. He was invincible and rose from the ashes. In the end, he suppressed the sacred Emperor continent and killed his way into the myriad worlds. Until many years later, this was an invincible and undefeatable existence. He returned to the sacred Emperor continent covered in injuries. In the end, he passed away quietly in the Million Mountains. No one knew what had happened. No one knew if this young supreme youth had reached level 6. In the past, countless powerhouses had tried to find the grave of this young sovereign, but all of them failed without exception. However, the Million Mountains was too big. Until this young supreme youth's grave appeared, no one had found it. This was also the reason why so many experts had gathered in the sacred Emperor continent after this young supreme youth's grave appeared. It was because countless experts wanted to obtain this young supreme youth's inheritance and the secret behind his ascension to become a supreme youth. The words that left the deepest impression in Wang Mang's mind, even incomparably shocking, were the words this supreme youth had once said. "My life was spent on the Tao of Emperors. Until now, I've been stained with the blood of 10,000 emperors. Until now, I've never been defeated. Apart from me, who dares to claim to be invincible? Who dares to claim to be invincible?" Chapter 605. Judging from this incomparably savage and even lawless speech, it was clear that this was the case. Wang Mang could roughly imagine how strong this person was at that time. If he wasn't bragging, then this young supreme being was truly powerful. Until now, he had been stained with the blood of 10,000 emperors? What was the concept of 10,000 emperors' blood? If the bloodstain here was referring to killing a stage 5 powerhouse, then in that case this sentence was stained with the blood of 10,000 emperors. It could be understood that he had killed over 10,000 fifth-order powerhouses. Such a glorious record. Although he did not know if it was fake, Wang Mang was still very impressed. It could only be mentioned. In the 5 days when Wang Mang was listening to the story, the number of stage 5 powerhouses had accumulated to more than 300. At a glance, the number of powerhouses on this small riverbank was already secretly packed. But after Wang Mang observed carefully, he found that, in fact, it was not only stage 5 powerhouses. He saw a very small number of stage 4 powerhouses here. It was just that these Stage 4 powerhouses gave Wang Mang a feeling that made him even more shocked. Because these Stage 4 powerhouses, their aura was not weaker than Stage 5 powerhouses. Although the number was very small, there were still 3 or 4 of them. Moreover, even some ordinary Stage 5 powerhouses, after seeing them, also treated them as equals. This also made Wang Mang's heart couldn't help but mutter, could it be that these Stage 4 powerhouses' battle power had reached Stage 5? If this was the case, then it was too monstrous. At this time, he seemed to be aware of Wang Mang's gaze. West Vice City Lord couldn't help but ridicule. What? Do you think that other people are the same as you? They are the real Heaven's Pride, the peerless Heaven's Pride, and the existence of the younger generation. Although you are also a Stage 4 powerhouse, their strength can reach Stage 5. Hearing this, Wang Mang's heart sank, and the gaze he looked at this West City Lord was even more unpleasant. Did this dog have a grudge with him? Thinking of this, Wang Mang couldn't help but coldly say, "What does it have to do with you? Does your family live by the sea? What a busybody!" In the face of Wang Mang's anger, the West Vice City Lord trembled with anger. He wished he could strangle Wang Mang to death. However, after he glanced at Lan who was beside Wang Mang, he finally snorted coldly and didn't say anything else. At this moment, Wang Mang suddenly felt a cold gaze, as if it was staring at him. He glanced sideways. Wang Mang saw Tong Nian's familiar figure in a small group of Type 5 powerhouses. Other than Tong Nian, there was also the Type 5 young man who was in charge of accepting Wang Mang. In addition, there were more than 10 Stage 5 powerhouses. "Bitch, why are you glaring at me?" Wang Mang muttered in his heart and stared back without showing any weakness. Tong Nian's pretty face turned cold when she saw this scene, and her beautiful eyes flashed with coldness. Ever since their last encounter, when she was defeated by Lan, she became even more resentful towards Wang Mang. If there were any conditions, she wouldn't even mind killing Wang Mang. Especially this damn despicable man, the speed of his strength improvement made her feel uneasy. Last time, Wang Mang's aura was only comparable to the late Immortal Venerable. But now, Wang Mang's aura had even surpassed the 4th stage, Immortal Venerable. However, he was still a little bit away from the 5th stage. Obviously, Wang Mang's strength had not reached the level of a legendary genius. However, he was still much stronger than those of the same level. Seriously speaking, Wang Mang should be considered one of the best in the same level. If it was an ordinary existence who had just entered the 5th stage, it would probably be more difficult to kill Wang Mang. This was Tong Nian's opinion of Wang Mang. At the same time, she also wanted to know, what kind of secret did this hateful, despicable thief have that allowed his strength to rise so quickly? "Bitch, just you wait. When I break through to the 5th stage, I'll beat you up. No. I'll beat you until you kneel down and call me daddy," Wang Mang whispered to himself. At this moment, Wang Mang suddenly saw it. The river suddenly opened. Yes, the water on both sides of the vast river parted on its own accord, leaving a path for them to cross. In the next moment, countless 5th stage powerhouses were in an uproar, and discussions were everywhere. Could it be that the Supreme Tomb has opened? The Supreme Tomb has finally appeared. Let's go. Get lost. Those who block us will die. Then, countless 5th stage powerhouses rushed forward one after another into this path. In fact, many people's eyes had turned red, and they charged into the cemetery without caring about anything else. Similarly, the East City Lord and the others did not want to be outdone. They rushed towards the path revealed by the river. Wang Mang also followed closely behind. He was careful and did not rush to the front. It wasn't that Wang Mang didn't want to rush to the front. The main thing was that Wang Mang didn't have the qualifications to rush to the front, because the powerhouses present, including Feng Qingyang, were also the 3rd batch to enter the path of the river. The first batch of powerhouses to enter the Supreme Tomb were all terrifying almighties. In front of such almighties, even the East City Lord was not enough. Wang Mang even guessed that these terrifying powerhouses had probably reached the peak of the 5th stage. In front of a peak 5th stage powerhouse, an immortal emperor was nothing. One must know that there were 3 realms in the 5th stage. They were Immortal Emperor, Holy Emperor, and God Emperor. According to Wang Mang's guess, the first batch of powerhouses to enter the Supreme Tomb were all God Emperor powerhouses. Immortal Emperor and Holy Emperor had to stand aside. After the God Emperor powerhouses entered, the Holy Emperor powerhouses entered, and finally, the Immortal Emperor powerhouses entered. When Wang Mang entered the Supreme Tomb, what appeared in front of him was a fork in the road. It was written, Immortal Emperor Road, Holy Emperor Road, and God Emperor Road. The 5 Emperor God level experts looked at each other before rushing towards the road of God Emperors. In an instant, only the Immortal Emperor and Holy Emperor powerhouses were left. Close to 40 Holy Emperor powerhouses looked at each other and discussed for a while. They all rushed into the Holy Emperor Road. In an instant, only a wretched old man was left. His strength was also at the Holy Emperor level. However, this wretched old man didn't enter the Holy Emperor Road. Instead, he sneered and rushed towards the Immortal Emperor Road. Seeing this, the remaining 200 Immortal Emperor powerhouses all frowned. However, they didn't want to provoke a Holy Emperor powerhouse, so they also entered the Immortal Emperor Road. This naturally included Wang Mang and Anlan. This Immortal Emperor Road wasn't very wide, but after walking for more than 10 minutes, it suddenly opened up. At this moment, what appeared in front of the 200 Immortal Emperor powerhouses was a huge stone door. At the same time, a loud sound suddenly came from behind Wang Mang and the others. Rumble. Turning back to look, a golden stone door that looked very mysterious completely sealed off the path of retreat that they had come from. Seeing this, all the powerhouses present were dumbfounded. Why was there no way out after walking for a while? Just as everyone was puzzled, a cold laugh sounded. This is the Immortal Emperor Road. If there is a Holy Emperor or God Emperor inside, then all of you will be trapped here until you die. If you want to continue to enter the Supreme Tomb, this Holy Emperor must die. Otherwise, all of you will be trapped here until you die. Chapter 606. After hearing this sneer, countless experts turned their heads to look at him. In the corner of this vast, sealed cave there was a group of people. He was a skinny old man who was as thin as a match. He was imprisoned by red iron chains and could not move at all. At this moment, he was looking at everyone present with a sneer. Old man, you're really something. Say it again. At this moment, the old man who had sneaked into the Immortal Emperor Road looked at the white-haired old man with a ferocious expression. Because this white-haired old man's words were simply murderous. He wanted all the Immortal Emperors present to gang up on him and kill him. If all the Immortal Emperors present really joined forces, even if he was a sage emperor, he would die on the spot. Therefore, there were too many stage 5 experts present. Moreover, he was a sage emperor and not an immortal emperor. If he was an immortal emperor, it would be very difficult for all the immortal emperors present to kill him. But the problem was that he was not an immortal emperor. He was just a sage emperor. But among the more than 200 immortal emperors present, there were many peak immortal emperors present. It was more than enough to gang up on an early-stage sage emperor old man like him. As he spoke, the wretched old man fiercely glanced at all the experts present and threatened. Humph! If anyone wants to die, you can try. Hearing this, the peak immortal emperors who were initially tempted began to hesitate. Obviously, no one was willing to be the first to do so. A sage emperor could easily kill many immortal emperors if he wanted to. None of the immortal emperors present was willing to face this wretched old man directly. Of course, although no one dared to make a move. But the immortal emperors present hated this wretched old man to the core. If it were not for this wretched old man who had sneaked into the immortal emperor road, they would not be trapped here. Therefore, if one observed carefully, they would realize that many of the immortal emperors present had murderous intent in their eyes. At this moment, all the experts present suddenly felt that something was wrong. In this strange and huge cave, it was getting hotter and hotter. The temperature began to soar. This immediately made all the immortal emperors present frown. This temperature did not affect them at all. After all, they were all stage 5 experts. For a time, many experts attempted to use their spatial abilities to leave the area. However, they soon discovered to their horror that they were unable to break through the spatial barrier around them. Other than that, the temperature in the cave started to rise crazily. In fact, the entire cave had turned crimson red, and the high temperature seemed to want to burn everything. But the temperature was still rising, as if there was no end to it. Just as everyone was puzzled, the skinny old man who had been imprisoned mocked. "Just keep waiting. If you wait any longer, all of you will die." The flame here is called the heaven-burning flame. It's one of the flames that Ji-Zun used to kill his enemies. Not to mention you, even if the God Emperor came, he would be burned to death. After hearing this, the expressions of the group of experts, who were originally calm, changed drastically. "Let's attack." In the next moment, an angry roar sounded. An old man whose strength was infinitely close to that of a saint emperor was the first to strike. His every move was filled with boundless dermic powers as he slammed his palm toward the wretched-looking old man. "How dare you!" The wretched old man was furious. Just as he was about to kill this reckless immortal emperor with his thunderbolt, in the next moment, many of the immortal emperors present made their moves. This made the wretched old man, who was incomparably furious, panic appear on his face. Facing the overwhelming divine skills of the immortal emperors present, the divine skills of the immortal emperors covered the sky and earth. He hurriedly dodged in a sorry state. Unfortunately, this old man had already become the target of everyone's attack. No matter how he dodged, it was useless. Bang! 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 One after another, earth-shattering divine powers sounded, accompanied by the wretched screams of the Saint Emperor. This wretched old man did not even have time to react, and he did not even have time to counterattack. He was completely drowned by the countless divine powers of the immortal emperors present. After the divine powers passed, this wretched old man was completely dead. He was directly killed on the spot. Not even a trace of him was left. This scene also made Wang Mang shudder with fear. Good heavens! A Saint Emperor expert was gone just like that? It seemed that when there were too many immortal emperors, they could also kill a Saint Emperor expert instantly. At the same time, after the wretched old man was killed, the group of experts, including Wang Mang, were all surprised to find that the temperature in the cave began to drop. In just a moment, the cave that was hot enough to burn everything completely returned to normal. Rumble! A loud sound was heard. They saw that the golden stone door that was originally sealed in front of them was slowly opening. The group of immortal emperors were all overjoyed and completely relieved. Then, they rushed toward the path in front of them. Seeing this scene, Wang Mang hurriedly followed behind him unhurriedly. After the group of experts had completely entered the path, the skinny old man who was originally imprisoned in the cave, he suddenly let out a hoarse and cold laugh. "A bunch of reckless fellows, all of you are just nourishment." On the other side, Wang Mang and the group of experts, who were hurrying on their way, were in trouble again, because the path in front of them had changed again. And this time there were a total of 20 forks. The group of experts all looked at each other. Then, they began to separate and enter. This time, Wang Mang and Enlon did not follow the old city lord. On the contrary, Wang Mang chose a path with fewer people. There were only 5 Type 5 powerhouses who took this path. Including Wang Mang and Anlan, there were only 7 people. This narrow path was also very narrow, like a crowded alley. After walking for a full 3 minutes, Wang Mang, Anlan, and the other 5 Stage 5 experts all stopped. The crowded path of the small cave suddenly opened up. The path was gone again. What appeared in front of them were 2 stone doors, which made people's hair stand on end. Because there were words written on these 2 stone doors. The stone door on the left said, Life Door. The stone door on the right said, Death Door. At this time, the strongest middle-aged man glanced at the people present, frowned and asked, What should we do now? Which door should we take? How should we choose? Another thin man with a gloomy face laughed sinisterly and said, That's right. What should we do? Of course, let someone go in and test the door. Whoever is the weakest can test the door himself, don't force us to do it. At the same time, the thin man with a cold face looked at Wang Mang indifferently. At the same time, the eyes of the other experts glittered too. Then, the 5 Stage 5 experts all looked at Wang Mang with cold faces. Seeing this scene, Wang Mang's heart suddenly tightened, and he suddenly became a little flustered. Motherf ***, these bastards want to use me as a test subject. Chapter 607. Thinking of this, there was no need to mention how sullen and angry Wang Mang was. But the problem was, it seemed that he really had no way. The 5 Stage 5 powerhouses present, except for Anlan, all wanted him to try the door. But how could Wang Mang be willing to try the door? After all, there might be a lot of danger. Thinking of this, Wang Mang immediately transmitted his voice. Anlan, quickly think of a way. The reason why he asked Anlan to speak was that Anlan's strength was definitely in the top 3 among the Stage 5 powerhouses. Among the 5 Stage 5 powerhouses, the strongest was the middle-aged man, who should be at the 6th heaven of the immortal Emperor realm. In addition, there was a cold-faced thin man, whose strength and aura were comparable to Anlan's. In addition, the other 3 Stage 5 powerhouses were only at the early stage of the immortal Emperor realm, not exceeding the 3rd heaven. Under the unfriendly gazes of the powerhouses, Anlan coughed and said, Give me, Anlan, some face. This young master of mine has a greater origin. Hearing this, the middle-aged man with the strongest strength and the thin man with a gloomy expression were both stunned and somewhat surprised. Then, the 2 of them nodded expressionlessly. Seeing this, Wang Mang immediately breathed a sigh of relief. At the same time, he was even more aggrieved. Sure enough, no matter where he went, strength was respected. If he was strong enough, would these guys dare to ask him to try the door? As for the danger of trying the door, Wang Mang was not stupid. Of course, he knew that it must be very dangerous. At this time, the other 3 Stage 5 powerhouses frowned and said, Do you want us to try the door? Yes, he has a powerful background. Do we have to give him face? Hearing this, Anlan suddenly turned cold. He pointed at the burly man and said coldly, You go and try the door. The person Anlan pointed at was the weakest Stage 5 powerhouse besides Wang Mang, the 2nd heaven of the immortal Emperor realm. Hearing this, the burly man was furious and said with a ferocious face, What do you mean? While speaking, the burly man looked at the other 2 Stage 5 powerhouses. What made him both shocked and angry was that the other 2 guys looked as if it had nothing to do with them. What do I mean? Of course you'll be the one to test the door. Meanwhile, Anlan spoke. In the next moment, he suddenly exploded and slapped the burly man towards the death door. Before the burly man could react, he was already slapped towards the death gate. In the next moment, the burly man who had fallen into the death door immediately let out a shrill scream. This caused everyone to be dumbfounded. That was because Anlan's speed was too fast. It could even be said that it was a sneak attack. Just as everyone was dumbfounded, Anlan suddenly smiled and said, Didn't we test it out just like that? Let's go. After saying that, Anlan walked toward the life gate. Wang Mang naturally followed closely behind. What made Wang Mang heave a sigh of relief was that this was really the gate of life. After walking in, there was another long, narrow, pitch-black cave path. The other stage 5 powerhouses also poured into the stone door one after another. However, a few minutes later, something that made Wang Mang tremble with fear once again happened. There were 2 more doors in front of him, Life Gate and Death Gate. This scene also caused the other 4 stage 5 powerhouses to be dumbfounded. Not only that, the other 2 stage 3 celestial emperors who were weaker immediately distanced themselves from Enlon. Seeing this, the strongest middle-aged man and the skinny man fell into silence again. Enlon made up his mind again. This time, he did not even say a word and attacked one of the stage 3 celestial emperors. The target that Enlon chose to attack was the fat man who was weaker than the other stage 3 celestial emperor. The fat man was instantly enraged. He raised his hand and hit Enlon with his palm. As for the other stage 3 celestial emperor in the golden robe, he did not say a word and quickly gave up his position. Not only that, the man with the golden robe also quietly distanced himself from the other powerhouses. Instead, he was the closest to Wang Mang. Bang, bang, bang. After Enlon and the fat man started fighting, all the powerhouses present had a better understanding of Enlon's strength. Even the skinny man who was a stage 5 celestial emperor could not help but look grave. This was because Enlon had been suppressing the fat man from the beginning to the end. In fact, the fat man did not even have the strength to resist. Such strength was not much weaker than a stage 5 celestial emperor. In addition, due to the small space, the battle between the 2 of them was the most primitive collision of strength. The collision of flesh, magic power, and divine powers. To be honest, if Wang Mang's strength had not reached the peak of Celestial Emperor, the aftershock of the battle would have been enough to choke him. Therefore, when the 2 of them were fighting, Wang Mang could be said to be constantly dodging to make room for the 2 of them. At the same time, Wang Mang was also very careful with the fat man, fearing that the fat man would sneak up on him. What made Wang Mang heave a sigh of relief was that, 4 hours later, the fat man was also forced into the gate of death by Enlon. As the fat man was forced into the gate of death, something strange happened. The fat man who entered the gate of death was actually fine. This caused Enlon to be stunned, and he immediately withdrew his hand. Then, Enlon nodded at the middle-aged man and the thin man and said, "It seems that the gate of life this time is the gate of death." Hearing this, the fat man looked at Enlon with a cold face. Without saying a word, he ran into the depths of the stone cave. If the gate of life this time was not the gate of death, he would probably be dead. Therefore, the conflict between the fat man and Enlon was already irreconcilable. It was just that his strength was completely inferior to Enlon's. Although Enlon's strength had not reached the stage 5 Celestial Emperor, his combat strength was not far from the stage 5 Celestial Emperor. Upon seeing this sight, everyone, including Wang Mang, rushed toward the cave as well. The current Wang Mang could be said to be incomparably mentally tired. Along the way, he had been trembling with fear. He only hoped that the gate of life and gate of death would not appear, because he was afraid that if this continued, even if Enlon killed the fat man and the other stage 3 Celestial Emperor with a golden cannon, then next, he had to try the gate of death. Even Enlon could not protect him. Half an hour later, Wang Mang finally passed through the endless pitch-black tunnel, and came to a huge underground grotto heaven. This underground grotto heaven was very big. Not only that, there were even more stage 5 powerhouses here, because, near this underground grotto heaven, there were a total of 20 tunnels. There were even stage 5 powerhouses walking out of the tunnels and gathering. At this moment, there were already more than 100 stage 5 powerhouses gathered. But at this moment, Wang Mang's gaze was fixed on the stone pillar in the middle of the grotto heaven. Around this stone pillar, there was a layer of barrier protective cover. At the top of the stone pillar, a ferocious mask floated. At the same time, Wang Mang couldn't help but use information detection. In the next moment, the information of this ferocious mask appeared before his eyes. Target: Devil Emperor Mask 1/4 Supreme Mask. Grade: Stage 5 Top Supreme Treasure. Effect 1. After wearing this mask, one's combat strength can soar by 2 small realms, effective within Stage 5. Effect 2. After wearing this mask, one can summon 10,000 of the strongest Stage 4 Devil Shadow Army. As long as the Devil Emperor Mask is not destroyed, the Devil Shadow Army will not be destroyed. Origin: Youth Sovereign. After killing over 10,000 5th Order Monarch rank powerhouses, he refined all of them into his current form. Chapter 608. When he finished reading the information of the mask, Wang Mang was completely dumbfounded. This was a 5th stage treasure? What made Wang Mang even more shocked was that the effect of this demon overlord mask was too heaven-defying. As long as the strength did not exceed the 5th stage, it could increase the battle power by 2 small realms. This was like if Wang Mang put on this demon overlord mask. His actual battle power would instantly increase to the 5th stage existence. Directly crossing 4 stages was simply heaven-defying. No, it should be said that with this mask, he could be called a peerless genius in the 5th stage. The basic condition of being a peerless genius was to cross 2 small realms to suppress the opponent. But Wang Mang's own battle power was far beyond the same realm. If he could get this demon overlord mask, Wang Mang could definitely become a true peerless genius. Even his battle power would not be an exaggeration to reach the level of a peerless genius. Thinking of this, Wang Mang suddenly became a little excited. For a moment, the way he looked at the demon overlord mask instantly changed. Obviously, Wang Mang was already very jealous of this demon overlord mask. The main reason was that the effect of this demon overlord mask was too heaven-defying. Wearing the mask could immediately increase one's battle power. Wearing the mask would immediately become a 5th stage peerless genius. But what made Wang Mang a little headache was that the people who had their eyes on this demon overlord mask were not only Wang Mang. There were nearly 160 or 75th stage powerhouses present, obviously also eyeing the mask on the stone pillar. The reason why there were so few of them was probably because many 5th stage powerhouses had died on the way here. Otherwise, the number of 5th stage powerhouses gathered here would probably be even more. In fact, the 160 or 70 Immortal Emperor level powerhouses that Wang Mang was present were already all of the 5th stage powerhouses that had survived. But there was one thing that made Wang Mang puzzled was that these guys were not in a hurry to make a move. Through his observation, he discovered that many people present were staring at the demon overlord mask on the stone pillar. Thinking of this, Wang Mang could not help but secretly frown. If he wanted to snatch food from the tiger's mouth, it would be a little difficult. This was because among the Type 5 experts present, the ones who died the most were the early-stage Immortal Emperors. Wang Mang did not need to guess to know that many of the weaker Type 5 powerhouses along the way had died miserably. At this moment, Wang Mang suddenly heard a voice, "All of you, attack together. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been able to shatter this energy barrier and obtain this mask. Furthermore, for this mask to be placed here, it must be a treasure left behind by the sovereign." Wang Mang glanced over. The person who spoke was an old man. He was extremely powerful and was among the immortal emperors here. His cultivation realm had also reached the peak of the 9th heaven of the immortal emperor realm. Clearly, the old man was only a step away from becoming a saint emperor. Moreover, Wang Mang had some impression of this old man. Among the experts who had killed the wretched old man back then, he was also one of the experts who had attacked first. After hearing the old man's words, the experts present looked at each other and nodded. "That's right. I've seen this barrier. Even if an immortal emperor came, he would have to spend a lot of effort to break it open. It's impossible to break this barrier with just one person's strength. That's right. Let's not wait anymore. You're dragging me out, I'm dragging you out. How long are we going to drag this out for? Once the battle between the sage emperors and immortal emperors ends, they might turn around and snatch our opportunities. This last sentence clearly struck a chord in the hearts of all the experts present. They knew too well about the sage emperors and immortal emperors. In front of opportunities and benefits, what was the big bullying the small? If it were them, they would do the same. Moreover, in front of absolute benefits, anything could be done. In addition, not all experts would care about their own reputation and not attack the weak. For example, there were many shameless people like Wang Mang. For those who could become Type 5 experts, which one of them was not unscrupulous? That was because the more a powerhouse cultivated, the greater their desire for resources would be. For example, Wang Mang only needed less than 20 million energy values to break through from 8th Firmament Immortal Venerate to 9th Firmament. But for him to break through from 9th Firmament Immortal Venerate to Type 5 Expert, the basic requirement was 200 million energy values. This was still uncertain whether he needed other resources and so on. Back to the main topic. When the group of experts had the same intention, they all attacked. Only to see more than 100 Type 5 experts attack one after another. One after another, divine abilities with terrifying power bombarded the stone pillar barrier one after another. But what was even more inconceivable was that in the face of 1 to 200 Type 5 experts attacking, the barrier still did not break. The barrier was still not broken. Instead, it was like a small grain of sand that fell into a lake, causing only a few ripples. Seeing this scene, Wang Mang knew that this barrier was probably going to break. Of course, Wang Mang was no longer in the range of effort, but no one cared about him. Although many Type 5 experts were very surprised by Wang Mang sneaking in among the Type 5 experts, they did not take him seriously. However, he didn't take Wang Mang seriously. Instead, he focused all his energy on the barrier. Seeing this scene, Wang Mang immediately felt bitter in his heart. He was thinking about how to get this Demon Emperor mask. Good stuff, Wang Mang naturally wanted it too. But Wang Mang had no way to compete for it. If he dared to be the first to snatch it after the barrier was broken later, then he would definitely be killed by all the immortal emperor powerhouses until not even dregs were left. There was no doubt about this. The holy emperor-level old man, not long ago, was a precedent. This was still under the situation where no one saw the benefits and they were already so crazy. Now that everyone saw the benefits, these Type 5 experts would probably be even crazier. Wang Mang predicted that when the time came, there would definitely be an unknown number of experts who would die tragically. He did not even have the qualifications to compete. No, not to mention him. Even his subordinate, Unlan, did not have the qualifications. This also caused Wang Mang to fall into deep thought. F***ck, what should I do? He really wanted this Demon Emperor mask, but the problem was that he did not know where to start. He could not directly kill these 100 over Type 5 experts, right? In that case, there was only one way left. Unless Wang Mang chose to use the wrath of the god and devil, and raise his strength by a large realm. In that case, the price he would have to pay would be too great. A conservative estimate was that he would lose hundreds of millions of energy values, or even more. This also caused Wang Mang to fall into a dilemma. Could it be that he really had to use the wrath of the god and devil? Chapter 609. He knew that once he used the wrath of the celestial demon, then no one would be able to snatch the Demon Emperor mask from him. Because the wrath of the celestial demon was that it was infinitely powerful. Moreover, if he wanted to snatch the Demon Emperor mask, he absolutely needed to forcibly raise his cultivation level by one realm. However, one realm was still not enough to suppress these people. He even needed to raise his cultivation level by more than one realm. Only by raising his cultivation level by one realm and a few more small realms could he be free of worries. Just as Wang Mang was in a dilemma, an earth-shattering loud noise was heard. Rumble. When he looked up, the enchantment on the stone pillar was completely shattered. Similarly, the residual power of the enchantment instantly blasted everyone, including Wang Mang, into the wall. Get lost. This mask is mine. How dare you snatch it from me? I think you're tired of getting it. Presumptuous. How dare you snatch it from me? Who dares to stop me? For a moment, angry shouts followed. The stage 5 powerhouses present rushed forward one after another to the Demon Emperor mask on the top of the stone pillar. Then, Wang Mang saw a stage 9 Immortal Emperor powerhouse, who had just gotten the mask ecstatically, was immediately killed by the other powerhouses on the spot. Then, another powerhouse snatched the mask. However, they obviously did not know what effect the Demon Emperor mask had. Therefore, they did not put the mask on their faces when they got it. Therefore, they did not last for more than 10 seconds before they were killed by the other powerhouses. Seeing this scene, Wang Mang suddenly shook his head secretly. Obviously, he was ready to give up on using the wrath of the celestial demon. Damn it. These idiots did not know the effect of the Demon Emperor mask and only knew how to snatch it. What a waste. Wang Mang could not help but curse in his heart. But at this moment, Wang Mang suddenly saw 3 more stone doors in front of him. This immediately made Wang Mang's eyes light up. Then, Wang Mang avoided the chaotic battle of the stage 5 powerhouses and came to the 3 stone doors. However, although Wang Mang said it easily, the process was not easy. He was less than a kilometer away from the 3 stone doors. However, Wang Mang was almost struck by the divine abilities of the Type 5 Divine Warriors. This was because the scene was too chaotic. It wouldn't be an exaggeration to say that a group of demons were dancing wildly. Even if they didn't participate in the fight for the Devil Monarch's mask, many early-stage Immortal Emperors were killed on the spot. This was mainly because they were too unlucky. Being at the center of the battlefield, he was blasted into smithereens by several divine abilities. Another thing worth mentioning was, the 3 stone doors in front of Wang Mang still had different characters. The words on the first stone door on the left read, "Early-stage Immortal Emperors may not enter." On the second stone door in the middle, it was written that only intermediate-stage Immortal Emperors could enter. On the third stone door on the right, it was written that only late-stage Immortal Emperors could enter. After seeing this, Wang Mang hesitated. Would it be dangerous? Right at this moment, an incomparably wretched early-stage Immortal Emperor expert did not hesitate to enter the stone door. Seeing this, Wang Mang no longer hesitated and followed into the first stone door. As for Enlon, Wang Mang could no longer care about him. He was afraid that if he continued to stay, he would die in the chaotic battle. In addition, it was impossible for Enlon to enter the same door as him. Otherwise, if the situation of the wretched old man with the Holy Emperor happened again, Enlon would probably die. Therefore, he could only rely on himself for the rest of the journey. It was worth mentioning that the path under his feet was very long. But compared to the previous cave path, it was much wider. After walking for a few minutes, Wang Mang came in front of a black hole. Yes, there was no road ahead for Wang Mang. There was only this black hole in front of him. After hesitating for a moment, Wang Mang gritted his teeth and entered the black hole. Then, Wang Mang only felt a blur in front of his eyes. When he opened his eyes again, it was as if he had entered a different world. This place had beautiful mountains and clear waters, dense forests, like a paradise on earth, poetic and picturesque. This immediately confused Wang Mang. Boy, did you also come in from the black hole just now? Just as Wang Mang was in a daze, an angry shout came from behind him. He turned his head and looked. The one who spoke was a middle-aged man at the second heaven of the immortal Emperor realm. He was looking around in confusion, frowning. Wang Mang immediately smiled and said, "Yes, I came here as soon as I came in." Hearing this, the middle-aged man immediately understood and nodded. After that, he no longer paid any attention to Wang Mang and flew in a certain direction. Seeing this, Wang Mang did not stay for long. He found a middle-aged man and flew in the opposite direction. But for the current situation, Wang Mang did not know anything, but he was very cautious, because he saw with his own eyes that there was a middle-stage immortal emperor demonic beast lurking in a small jade pool. If Wang Mang did not see it from afar, he might have been sneak attacked. Not only that, in the following days, Wang Mang was also trembling with fear, because he saw many early-stage immortal emperors being swallowed by demonic beasts lurking in the dark. The demonic beasts here were not simple, although Wang Mang was one of the demonic beasts, but the demonic beasts here, they were all rank 5 demonic beasts, but the demonic beasts here seemed to be unable to transform. There was a huge difference between them and ordinary rank 5 experts. Although there was a difference, their strength was real. At this moment, a cold and indifferent voice sounded in the sky. "You must have come here for the opportunity. Unfortunately, I don't have so many opportunities for you. But only one person can have the opportunity. Next is to get my opportunity. The rules are as follows. There are a total of 90 early-stage immortal emperors who entered this secret realm this time. You can kill the demonic beasts in the secret realm to get points, or kill the participants to get points. When you kill other participants, the points that the participants originally got will all belong to the killer. Whoever gets the most points will be the winner. The first heaven of Immortal Emperor is 1 point, the second heaven is 2 points, the third heaven is 3 points, and so on. The deadline is 15 days. Then, the game officially begins now." After hearing the voice that resounded through heaven and earth, Wang Mang suddenly felt his scalp go numb. The rules of this game are King Cruel. He was simply telling everyone in a straightforward manner. If you want to get the opportunity, you have to kill all the way. And kill the participants who compete with you. You can even do anything for points. Wang Mang did not need to guess to know that in the next 15 days, in this small secret realm world, there would be a storm of blood. Next, he did not know how many rank 5 experts would die here. Thinking of this, Wang Mang started to worry about his own safety. After pondering for a while, Wang Mang had already made up his mind. No, he had to hide first. Otherwise, he would not even know how he died. The rules of this game were simply to let everyone kill each other. Chapter 610. This wasn't because Wang Mang was a coward. It was mainly because of the rules of the game. It was too unfriendly to him. Wang Mang's strength hadn't reached the 5th rank yet. He didn't even have a chance to compete fairly with the other early-stage immortal emperors. Therefore, he could only develop in a wretched manner. Hiding was naturally the best way. Thinking of this, Wang Mang began to look for a place to hide. After searching for a long time, Wang Mang really found a good place. He turned into a tree on the top of a mountain with an excellent view. After restraining his aura, Wang Mang didn't move at all. If it wasn't for the fact that his strength was too strong, he wouldn't be able to tell that this tree was Wang Mang. Moreover, the view here was excellent and he could see very far. Damn, I'm indeed a genius. The most dangerous place is the safest place. Just as Wang Mang was secretly feeling proud, there was suddenly a sharp wind in the distance. Then, Wang Mang saw a little fatty in the first heaven of the Immortal Emperor realm. He was wearing a Taoist robe and came near Wang Mang. Seeing this, Wang Mang was shocked. Could it be that he was exposed? But in the next moment, Wang Mang knew that he was thinking too much. Because this little fatty in a Taoist robe was looking around like a thief. At this moment, he had already turned into a big green stone. Half of the stone was inserted into the ground. It gave people the feeling that it was indeed a big stone that was born and raised here. It didn't attract any attention. "You scared me." Seeing this, Wang Mang muttered speechlessly in his heart. To be honest, Wang Mang didn't expect that someone would have the same idea as him. But not long later, Wang Mang saw another white-robed little old man in the first heaven of the immortal emperor realm. He also came near the top of the mountain and turned into a big tree. The white-robed little old man's behavior instantly stunned Wang Mang. "Damn? Another one? Damn it. Go out and fight. How can you get opportunities without fighting? Why? What about playing hide-and-seek? I'm hiding and you're hiding too? It was fine if one of them came. Another King one. Besides, what's the point of hiding? Could it be that in the face of a fortuitous encounter, they would not fight for it? We're hiding until the time is up, and then we'll go out and harvest. But do you think you can make a comeback by hiding?" For a moment, Wang Mang was speechless at these two fellows. But what Wang Mang didn't know was that, at this moment, the little fatty in the Taoist robe, who had turned into a stone not far away, was also speechless. However, this also proved that he had a good eye. The peak of this mountain had an excellent view and was a good place to hide. In the blink of an eye, 3 days passed. That day, early in the morning, Wang Mang discovered that not far away, there were 6 third heaven immortal emperors fighting. The 3 powerhouses fought so fiercely that it seemed as if the sky was falling and the earth was splitting. It was obvious that they had unleashed their true flames. Wherever they fought, it was a complete mess. Furthermore, the battlefield of their battle was also moving closer. This immediately made Wang Mang panic. "Damn it! Don't tell me they're fighting here? Am I going to be exposed?" At the thought of this, Wang Mang was ready to escape at any time. As expected, not long after, the 6 third heaven immortal emperors had already killed their way here. But just as Wang Mang was about to escape, an even more terrifying aura rushed over from afar. This aura was far more powerful than a 3rd heaven immortal emperor. Moreover, judging from the aura alone, it was much more powerful than Enlon. Damn it! What's going on? Is there a middle stage immortal emperor? This caused Wang Mang to be extremely shocked. In the next moment, the 6 third heaven immortal emperors who were still fighting stopped fighting, and their expressions changed drastically as they fled into the distance. Obviously, the 6 third heaven immortal emperors were also frightened away by the powerful aura of this being. This made Wang Mang heave a sigh of relief. In this case, he didn't have to worry about being exposed. Not long after, a young man with a powerful aura appeared in the sky. This young man looked at the direction in which they fled, and stopped for a moment before he chased after them. At the same time, Wang Mang roughly guessed the strength of this young man in a white robe. He was only a 3rd heaven immortal emperor, but judging from his aura alone, his combat strength had already reached the middle stage immortal emperor. He might even have reached the legendary peerless genius level. Thinking of this, Wang Mang couldn't help but ask in his heart, "System, has that guy's strength reached the legendary peerless genius level?" In the next moment, the system's voice sounded. "Ding! Reminder to the host. The target has reached the legendary peerless genius level." Hearing this, Wang Mang's heart sank. In this case, if he wanted to obtain the opportunity, he would have to pay a higher price. If there was no middle stage immortal emperor level strength, then Wang Mang would have to wait until the time was almost up. He could use the wrath of the celestial demon to increase his strength by 3 small realms, and pay the price of tens of millions of immortal stones to obtain the opportunity. But now, without knowing what kind of opportunity it was, Wang Mang was indeed a little unwilling to pay too high a price to obtain this so-called opportunity. What if this so-called opportunity was not as good as the price he had to pay? Thinking of this, Wang Mang began to worry. In the blink of an eye, another 10 days had passed. At this moment, there were less than 2 days left before the time limit of the opportunity ended. But Wang Mang was in a dilemma. If there was no one, then that legendary peerless genius level existence, then Wang Mang would choose to spend tens of millions of energy points without hesitation. He would take a small gamble, the so-called opportunity in this secret realm. Because, at that time, Wang Mang only needed to increase his strength by 3 small realms. But now, if he wanted to obtain the final victory, he had to increase his strength by 5 small realms. Otherwise, he wouldn't have the chance to obtain victory and the so-called opportunity at all. But the problem was, Wang Mang was in a dilemma. If he increased his strength by 5 small realms, he would need at least 60 million energy points to recover. Was this so-called fortuitous encounter worth the 60 million energy values that he had to pay? Just as Wang Mang was at a loss, suddenly, the system's voice sounded frowny-facing. The host's current situation has been detected. The host is given the following mission to choose from. Mission number 1. In the face of the opportunity to obtain the Immortal Emperor's mask, turn a blind eye to it, and stay until the end, obtain nothing. Mission time, available upon selection. Mission reward, 1 million energy points, Diamond Treasure Chest X1. Mission number 2. In the face of the opportunity to obtain the Immortal Emperor's mask, obtain victory without dropping your realm. Mission time, available upon completion. Mission reward, 2 million energy points, Immortal Level Blind Box X1. Mission number 3. In the face of the opportunity to obtain the Immortal Emperor's mask, obtain victory by any means necessary and obtain the Immortal Emperor's mask. Mission time, available upon completion. Mission reward, 10 million energy points, Immortal Level Blind Box X1. Immortal Level Treasure Chest X1. Chapter 6:11. After listening to the system's voice, Wang Mang's eyes lit up. He really didn't expect that the so-called opportunity this time was also the Devil Emperor mask. Oh no, not the Devil Emperor mask, but the Immortal Emperor mask. But this was the same as the Devil Emperor mask, a quarter of the Supreme mask. Since that was the case, the effect would definitely not be too bad. In fact, Wang Mang guessed that this Immortal Emperor mask was definitely not weaker than the Devil Emperor mask. Moreover, these 4 masks could definitely be combined into the Supreme mask. Although he didn't know how heaven-defying the Supreme mask was. But if there was a chance, Wang Mang didn't mind combining the Supreme mask. In addition, he originally had some difficulties in choosing. But now, he didn't have so many difficulties in choosing, because this opportunity was worth him using the wrath of the gods and demons to increase his cultivation by 5 small realms to obtain the final victory. It was just 5 realms, which was only 50 to 60 million energy values. Wang Mang was confident that he could afford to lose. But it was different after obtaining the Immortal Emperor mask. It could directly allow him to cross 2 small realms. Moreover, this kind of crossing of realms was effective within the 5th stage. Even if it was the Holy Emperor level, the God Emperor level, it would still be effective. Not only that, the system had also given him a reward mission. It was as good as feeding him the food. At that time, once he won and obtained the Immortal Emperor mask, he could also get more than 10 million energy values for free. In this way, his losses would be even less. At that time, if he could also obtain one of the 8 great secret treasures, he could also obtain 20 million energy values. At that time, the gap between his rewards would shrink again, including the Immortal Level Blind Box and the Immortal Level Treasure Chest. Perhaps this wave could be a huge profit. Thinking of this, Wang Mang suddenly became excited. He almost didn't hesitate and said without hesitation, "System, I choose the 3rd mission." As for the reason why Wang Mang chose the 3rd mission, was there a need for a reason? the reward was the most. Moreover, Wang Mang could only use any means to obtain victory. If he relied on his original strength and didn't use the wrath of the gods and demons, it was impossible for him to obtain victory and the immortal emperor mask. The next moment, the system's voice sounded frowny-faced ding. Congratulations to the host. Successfully selected the mission. Please complete the mission as soon as possible to receive the reward. After listening to the system's voice, Wang Mang couldn't help but be eager to try. He knew that he was about to begin his hunt. There were only 2 days left until the end of the mission. Thinking of this, Wang Mang couldn't help but feel high-spirited. Since he had already made his decision, Wang Mang wouldn't hesitate anymore. It was just over 60 million energy values. Wang Mang could still afford it. In the next moment, Wang Mang transformed into his human form. This scene gave the little fatty in Taoist robes and the little old man in white who were hiding nearby a fright. They didn't expect that there would be someone hiding here. No one was more shocked than the little fatty in the Taoist robe. When he saw Wang Mang suddenly expose himself, he was scared to death. However, after seeing Wang Mang's strength, he immediately let out a sigh of relief. This was because Wang Mang's strength was too weak. He hadn't even reached the 5th level. They even guessed that Wang Mang was most likely a monster that turned into a tree demon. Thinking of this, the two of them lost interest in Wang Mang. This was because if Wang Mang's strength reached the 5th level, they didn't mind killing Wang Mang to get 1 point. However, the problem was that Wang Mang wasn't even worth 1 point. However, they were obviously worried that Wang Mang would expose them. However, just as the two of them were hesitating whether to make a move, Wang Mang had already flown far away. This made the two of them completely give up on the idea of killing Wang Mang. The little fatty in Taoist robes and the little old man in white couldn't help but think in their hearts, "What a lucky fellow." However, they didn't know. In fact, Wang Mang also despised them for being too weak. That was why he didn't make a move. They started to hide when Wang Mang just hid. How many points could they get? Because of this, Wang Mang wanted to kill the two of them. After leaving the mountain peak, Wang Mang began to rush towards the center of the secret realm. This was because Wang Mang knew that any expert who wanted to get an opportunity would definitely participate. Therefore, he only needed to rush to the center of the secret realm and have the opportunity to meet these strong competitors. Moreover, Wang Mang's target was them. These people must have killed many people and definitely had a lot of points. In addition, these people would definitely kill crazily to be on the safe side. The closer it was to the end, the crazier the killing would be. As expected, half an hour later, Wang Mang arrived at the center of the secret realm. There was a vast open space. Wang Mang saw a group of early-stage immortal emperor experts who were like demons dancing in a frenzy. They were killing each other. At a glance, there were more than 30 of them. Not only that, these people were in groups of 3 to 5, forming an alliance and clashing with the other teams. In addition, Wang Mang immediately found the peerless genius he had seen before. This peerless genius in white was fighting against several men whose strength had reached the 4th and 5th heaven of immortal emperor realm. This made Wang Mang even more shocked. F***ck. This is too exaggerated. Could it be that these bastards got other opportunities? Otherwise, how could they break through the early stage immortal emperor realm and reach the middle stage immortal emperor realm in such a short time? In addition, Wang Mang was sure that these people must have broken through to the middle stage immortal emperor realm after entering the secret realm. Because, before entering the secret realm, these people were definitely still at the early stage immortal emperor realm. This also ruled out the possibility that they were at the middle stage immortal emperor realm but ran into the early stage immortal emperor realm passageway. In that case, there was only one possibility. Either they already had the strength to break through to the middle stage immortal emperor realm but did not choose to do so until they entered the secret realm. The other possibility was that they had gotten a great opportunity and their strength had soared. Wang Mang felt that both possibilities were very likely. Both possibilities were very high. Thinking of this, Wang Mang could not help but feel a little jealous. It seemed that while he was hiding, he would miss out on many things. Thinking of this, Wang Mang's eyes were filled with killing intent. He was ready to take action, because he had already thought of a good way to make up for his losses. This way was to use the fury of the fiend god and obtain the final victory and take the immortal emperor mask. At the same time, he would devour all the early-stage fifth heaven immortal emperors that he had killed. Chapter 6:12. In this way, Wang Mang would definitely be able to obtain a lot of energy value. After all, these guys were all stage 5 powerhouses. It couldn't be that they were worthless, right? Thinking of this, Wang Mang couldn't help but feel excited. As long as he killed enough of them, he might even be able to make up for the price of using the wrath of the god and demon this time. Oh my god! F***ck. I, Wang Mang, am indeed a genius. I can even think of such a method. For a moment, Wang Mang admired his own intelligence and wisdom. Of course, to be on the safe side, Wang Mang still didn't make a move. He was still observing and waiting for the time to come. Because once Wang Mang used the wrath of the god and demon, there was also a time limit. However, Wang Mang didn't know how long this time limit was. Therefore, Wang Mang's ideal time to make a move was actually the last day, because this was the safest time. In addition, looking at the current situation, these people would only become more and more jealous as they killed. Therefore, Wang Mang wasn't worried at all that these people would slip away. When the time came, as long as he suppressed all the victors among these people, victory would be at his fingertips. With such a thought, Wang Mang's state of mind was incomparably relaxed, and he thought to himself, let's fight. It's best to fight as hard as possible. In any case, the final victor will definitely be me. This feeling of being at ease and having everything under control made Wang Mang very fascinated. It was as if these people in front of him were all Sun Wukong, destined to be unable to escape his five-finger mountain. However, what made Wang Mang gratified was that the battle was really getting more and more intense as time passed. Right now, just in the empty space nearby, there were already several immortal emperor-level powerhouses lying on the ground. It was estimated that if the battle continued until tomorrow, it was unknown whether there would be the last 10 left. However, Wang Mang was naturally happy to see this. Other than that, what surprised Wang Mang the most was that this young man in white was a peerless genius. His combat power was 2F** King Lo. Even though he was facing 4 mid-stage immortal emperors, he was still able to handle them with ease. However, there wasn't any life-threatening situation. On the contrary, one of the 5 mid-stage immortal emperors was killed by him, so there were only 4 of them left. However, after this exceptional genius killed one of the mid-stage immortal emperors, the 4 mid-stage immortal emperors became even more cautious. That was why this exceptional prodigy had fallen into a disadvantageous position. However, this had nothing to do with Wang Mang. If this peerless genius died, he would be able to use the fiend god's wrath at a lower price. After all, this peerless genius was only at the 3rd heaven of the immortal emperor realm, but his combat strength was at the 5th heaven of the immortal emperor realm. This was also the reason why he was able to become a peerless genius. In short, Wang Mang was really envious of such a guy. For example, if it was within the 4th heaven, Wang Mang was confident that he could defeat the enemy who was 2 levels higher than him. However, if it was within the 5th heaven, Wang Mang wasn't so confident. Within the 4th heaven, even if Wang Mang wasn't a peerless genius, he wasn't far off. However, if it was within the 5th heaven, Wang Mang didn't dare to say that he was a peerless genius. Similarly, Anlan was at the same level as Wang Mang when he was at the 5th heaven. Although he wasn't a peerless genius, he wasn't far off. In the blink of an eye, another day passed. During this day, Wang Mang saw it with his own eyes. There were originally dozens of immortal emperors, but now there were only 15 immortal emperors left. Among them, 4 mid-stage immortal emperors were still fighting with the peerless genius. The remaining 10 immortal emperors were only at the 3rd heaven of the immortal emperor realm, but their combat strength was probably not weaker than the 4th heaven of the immortal emperor realm. This was definitely one of the best in the same realm. After all, there were almost 200 early-stage immortal emperors. The result? Most of them died. However, they still survived. From this, it could be seen that these guys weren't simple. This was actually very normal. If they didn't have some ability, how could they survive until the end? Of course, except for those who chose to hide. Those who hid relied on their ability to hide. However, these people did indeed rely on their ability to survive. However, they weren't so lucky next time, because this was the last day of the 15-day time limit. Similarly, Wang Mang had endured for so long, and it was time for him to make a move. At this point, Wang Mang didn't hesitate at all and used the wrath of the Fiend God. The next moment, after using the wrath of the Fiend God, Wang Mang felt that his entire body began to burn. Not only that, Wang Mang felt as if there was an endless power in his body. This power was expanding crazily in his body, as if it could make him explode at any time. However, the strange thing was that this power seemed to know where Wang Mang's limit was. Every time Wang Mang felt that his body was about to explode, this huge power slowed down the speed of its expansion. This also caused Wang Mang's strength to expand rapidly. Originally, he was only at the peak of the immortal emperor realm. In just a moment, he broke through to the 5th level. 1st heaven of the immortal emperor realm. 1st heaven of the immortal emperor realm. 2nd heaven of the immortal emperor realm. 2nd heaven of the immortal emperor realm. 3rd heaven of the immortal emperor realm. 4th heaven of the immortal emperor realm. 5th heaven of the immortal emperor realm. Until Wang Mang's realm reached the peak of the 5th heaven of the immortal emperor realm. Wang Mang's strength didn't continue to skyrocket. On the contrary, this endless power was completely exhausted when it reached the peak of the 5th heaven of the immortal emperor realm. At the same time, Wang Mang's body also underwent a great change. In fact, even he himself did not realize that his current appearance was completely different from how it was before. The current Wang Mang's body was filled with a vast aura. It was filled with a faint black aura and his eyes were blood red. His shoulder-length hair had turned red and was fluttering in the wind. Not only that, his original white robe had turned into a black robe. At this moment, Wang Mang gave people the feeling that he was an unparalleled demon from hell, especially the aura that he exuded. It was simply as evil and strange as before. Just by standing proudly in the air, he gave people a great sense of oppression and palpitations. At the same time, when Wang Mang's aura skyrocketed and reached the peak of the 5th heaven of the immortal emperor realm, the group of immortal emperors who were still fighting in the originally spacious area all stopped. They looked at Wang Mang in bewilderment, because Wang Mang's appearance was too strange. They didn't even notice when Wang Mang appeared. However, the terrifying aura that Wang Mang exuded. Everyone's expression changed when they heard it, because it was Wang Mang who used the wrath of the Fiend God. At this moment, his aura was too powerful. Chapter 6:13. All of a sudden, everyone present looked at Wang Mang with a solemn expression. They, who were originally fighting with red eyes, instantly woke up. They couldn't understand how Wang Mang appeared. If Wang Mang's body was already this powerful, then Wang Mang's body was already this powerful. They wouldn't be so surprised. But Wang Mang seemed to have appeared out of thin air. But this didn't make sense. If Wang Mang was so powerful, he didn't need to hide. After all, those who hid were basically those who didn't have enough strength. But Wang Mang's strength wasn't enough? It was 2F** King Awesome. Wang Mang's current aura was stronger than everyone present. In fact, he was even more terrifying than the young man in white, a peerless genius. Did he need to hide with such strength? Although everyone present was full of doubts. But this didn't stop them from being vigilant. Because Wang Mang appeared in front of them, there was only one possibility, and that was to win the competition. To put it bluntly, he was also their strong competitor. Moreover, he was so powerful that they felt like they were going to collapse. Otherwise, Wang Mang's appearance wouldn't have stopped them from fighting. At the same time, at this moment, Wang Mang didn't know what they were thinking. However, Wang Mang couldn't help but look at the changes in his body with some infatuation. He was especially fascinated by the boundless and inexhaustible power in his body. This was also the first time Wang Mang experienced the power of an immortal emperor. At the same time, Wang Mang also knew how small he was. Stage 5 was Stage 5. It wasn't something that Stage 4 could surpass. The difference between Stage 5 and Stage 4 wasn't just the difference in quantity, but the difference in quality. For example, Wang Mang could easily understand space and time at this moment. He could even feel the changes in the flow of time, as well as the changes in space. This wasn't something that celestial venerables could feel. Although celestial venerables could use space magic, their understanding of space and time was still far away. However, Stage 5 powerhouses had a certain understanding and control of space and time. For example, if Wang Mang wanted to hide in the space, he would then be able to find weak or unstable nodes in the surrounding space and break them with force. In addition, there was a limit to the power of a celestial venerable, but there was no limit for celestial emperors. To put it more bluntly, at this moment, Wang Mang could easily feel the spiritual energy and all energy units in the world. Not only that, if Wang Mang wanted to, he could also absorb any energy in the world to replenish his own consumption. This was also the reason why immortal emperors had boundless dermic powers. Of course, the magic power of an immortal emperor was boundless, but it was another matter altogether when it came to battle prowess. Although one's magic power was boundless, it didn't mean that one was invincible. As an immortal emperor, one's strength was often determined by one's battle prowess. One could say that at this moment, Wang Mang had a better understanding of a 5th stage immortal emperor. However, what made Wang Mang frown was that his killing intent was too strong. It was as if there was a voice in his head tempting him. Kill to your heart's content. Kill all the powerhouses. Let the world know how powerful you are. The voice in his head seemed to be triggering the negative emotions in Wang Mang's heart. Most importantly, Wang Mang himself had a lot of negative emotions. Therefore, he was more or less affected. Fortunately, he could still control the killing intent. Therefore, Wang Mang quickly suppressed all the negative emotions. At the same time, Wang Mang slowly raised his head. His blood-red eyes stared at the group of immortal emperors in the distance. Realizing that these people were looking at him with vigilance, Wang Mang smiled and didn't care. In the next moment, Wang Mang couldn't help but grin and say, "All of you must die." As soon as he finished speaking, Wang Mang rushed towards the remaining 10 powerhouses. As for the peerless genius and the other 5 middle-stage immortal emperors, Wang Mang didn't attack them immediately. It was worth mentioning that, after seeing Wang Mang's actions, the peerless heavens pride in white continued to attack without hesitation. Obviously, both sides had a tacit understanding. They decided to fight again after clearing the area. Seeing Wang Mang rushing towards them, the 10 powerful Third Heaven Immortal Emperors' expressions changed drastically. The 10 Third Heaven Celestial Emperors looked at each other and said in unison, "That's right. Attack. Let's kill this guy together. That's right. Let's attack together. Otherwise, none of us is his match. Kill him." I'm afraid he's not far from the sixth heaven immortal emperor realm. As soon as they finished speaking, the group of immortal emperors attacked. Their attacks were earth-shattering. They used their divine abilities right away. In the next moment, 10 divine abilities that blotted out the sky and covered the earth rained down on Wang Mang. Wang Mang instantly sneered when he saw this scene, and then his figure flashed and his speed multiplied explosively. After his afterimage dissipated, Wang Mang had disappeared from where he was. At the same time, earth-shattering sounds could be heard. Rumble! The place where Wang Mang was standing had been blasted into ruins by the divine abilities. Even the surrounding forest ground had been blasted into a bottomless pit. The terrifying residual power rippled out, causing the surrounding ground to crack like a spider web. From this, one could see how terrifying the divine abilities of Stage 5 Immortal Emperors were. However, before the 10 Immortal Emperors could rejoice, they realized that Wang Mang had disappeared. At this moment, a cold and playful voice could be heard. "Idiots! I'm above you!" Hearing this, the expressions of the Immortal Emperors changed drastically. When they looked up, they saw that Wang Mang, who was surrounded by black lightning, had already attacked them with his palm. Then, a terrifyingly huge black lightning dragon roared out with bared fangs and claws. Obviously, Wang Mang had used his divine ability, Almighty Dragon of Heaven. However, as his strength increased tremendously, Wang Mang had already mastered the Almighty Dragon of Heaven. Now, not only could Wang Mang use the Almighty Dragon of Heaven, he could also use the Almighty Dragon of Heaven in any form. For example, the Lightning Dragon, Fire Dragon, Gold Dragon, Water Dragon, Earth Dragon, Wood Dragon, etc. Obviously, after Wang Mang's strength reached Stage 5 Immortal Emperor, his understanding and control of the Almighty Dragon of Heaven had reached a higher level. Bang! 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 A loud sound could be heard. Ah! In the next moment, a few shrill screams could be heard. Because there were 3 immortal emperors who didn't manage to dodge in time, and they were killed by Wang Mang on the spot. Even the ground was hit by Wang Mang, and a bottomless abyss could be seen. With just one hit, even if they didn't die, they were basically on the verge of death. As for the other 7 immortal emperors who were lucky enough to escape, their faces were filled with shock and anger. Because Wang Mang's strength was too powerful, so powerful that it made them feel hopeless. Just a casual hit from his divine ability had almost killed 3 immortal emperors. In the next moment, something that surprised Wang Mang happened. When he felt that the 3 immortal emperors who were hit by his attack had completely lost their breath. Suddenly, a string of golden numbers appeared on top of his head, 110 points. Such a golden number. Wang Mang had seen it on the heads of other immortal emperors a long time ago. It was just that he didn't know what it meant at that time. But now, Wang Mang instantly knew. Most likely, this represented points. Thinking of this, Wang Mang couldn't help but smile. Because the points on top of these people's heads were clear. Most of them were the peerless geniuses who were fighting with the 4 middle stage immortal emperors. The golden number on top of his head was 325 points. As for the other 4 middle stage immortal emperors who were fighting with him, the golden number on top of their heads was only slightly more than 100 points. It could be said that he only needed to kill the remaining 7 immortal emperors. Then, he would be the one with the most points. Thinking of this, Wang Mang's lips curled up slightly, and the killing intent in his heart grew stronger. Everyone, run! We are no match for him in terms of strength. At this time, one of the 7 immortal emperors who had yet to recover from the shock suddenly shouted angrily. Then, he took the lead and quickly flew toward the forest in the distance without saying anything. Seeing this, Wang Mang suddenly smiled coldly and said, "Want to run? All of you will die." As soon as he finished speaking, Wang Mang raised his hand and slapped at the escaping immortal emperors. In the next moment, a terrifying black thunder dragon roared out with bared fangs and brandished claws. However, this wasn't the end. Wang Mang turned his head and slapped dozens of times at the remaining 6 immortal emperors. In the blink of an eye, dozens of thunder dragons roared out with bared fangs and brandished claws, covering the sky and the sun. This terrifying scene was simply like thousands of dragons dancing in the sky, causing the sky and the earth to change color. Moreover, the shocking roars of dragons resounded throughout the sky and the earth. Chapter 6:14. Seeing this, the other 6 immortal emperors' expressions changed drastically. They had seen the power of the almighty heavenly dragon that Wang Mang had used previously. If they were hit again, they would either die or be severely injured. Heaven Mountain Cold Air Technique. 9 Dragon Fire Palm. 3 days, 6 legacies. Space Palm. In an instant, the celestial emperors used their divine powers again. In the next moment, the divine powers whizzed out in all directions. Obviously, they knew that it was not realistic to just rely on their divine powers to escape. On the contrary, if they turned around and ran, it would give Wang Mang a chance to kill them one by one. Because of this, the 6 celestial emperors used their divine powers to save their lives. Bang! 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 A series of earth-shattering noises were heard. Terrifying waves of air rippled out. The entire battlefield was completely engulfed by the terrifying dermic powers. At the same time, the dozens of black lightning dragons that Wang Mang had used dissipated. Of course, there were still a few lightning dragons that hit the celestial emperors. Poochie! Those celestial emperors who were hit by Wang Mang's lightning dragons were sent flying and spat out blood. Of course, these people did not die. This was because they had used their divine powers to offset most of the power of Wang Mang's lightning dragons. Otherwise, they would have been severely injured if they took Wang Mang's almighty heavenly dragon head-on. But even so, when they went all out, it was still not enough for Wang Mang. There was no other reason. Wang Mang was too powerful. In front of Wang Mang, they could only defend themselves. Seeing that 3 of them were injured in an instant, Wang Mang's lips curled into a smile. The thrill of being crushed, the invincible power, was really intoxicating. Moreover, Wang Mang was confident that within an hour, he would be able to kill all of these fellows. This was because Wang Mang still had some misgivings when he attacked earlier. He was worried that these fellows would be blasted to the point that not even their corpses would be left, so he held back. Therefore, after Wang Mang grasped the endurance of these guys, he attacked again without any hesitation. In the end, the 6 immortal emperors were all in a sorry state. Unfortunately, after Wang Mang unleashed the power of a peak 5th Heaven Immortal Emperor without holding back, the 5th Heaven Immortal Emperor's power was completely destroyed. The 6 Third Heaven Celestial Emperors were eventually defeated by Wang Mang. Less than half an hour later, these 6 were Third Heaven Immortal Emperors. One after another, they died at the hands of Wang Mang. After Wang Mang killed the 6 Immortal Emperor-level experts, Wang Mang's expression changed drastically. He didn't attack the Supreme Genius and the other 4 Immortal Emperors. This was because he had already obtained 918 points just by killing the 10 Third Heaven Immortal Emperors. If they didn't come to Wang Mang after the battle, Wang Mang would definitely have the most points. This was also the reason why Wang Mang was so calm. No matter if it was the 4 middle-stage Immortal Emperors or the Supreme Genius in white. After the battle, they would have to fight with Wang Mang unless they gave up the opportunity. Otherwise, they would have to fight with Wang Mang if they wanted to compete for the opportunity. Therefore, after the battle, Wang Mang began to search for the corpses of the Immortal Emperors in the entire secret realm. In just a short while, Wang Mang had collected the corpses of more than 30 early-stage Immortal Emperors. Not only that, Wang Mang continued to search for the corpses of the Immortal Emperors. This was because if Wang Mang's prediction was correct, There were more than 90 early-stage immortal emperors who had entered the secret realm. If he could collect all the corpses of the early-stage immortal emperors, Wang Mang dared to say that he would definitely make a profit this time. His gains would increase instead of decreasing. This was also the reason why Wang Mang was so eager to search for the corpses of the immortal emperors. Otherwise, why would Wang Mang be so kind as to search for the corpses of the immortal emperors? Moreover, the corpses of the immortal emperors were level 5 items, so they were naturally level 5 items. 2 hours later, after Wang Mang searched the entire secret realm, he found more than 10 corpses of the immortal emperors. In total, Wang Mang found less than 40 corpses of the immortal emperors. After finding these corpses, Wang Mang didn't hesitate to pile the corpses up. Then, Wang Mang transformed into his huge body, a terrifying python that was 600 to 700 meters long. After opening his bloody mouth, Wang Mang swallowed all the corpses of the immortal emperors. Rumble! After Wang Mang swallowed all the corpses of the immortal emperors, he felt as if his body was about to expand. This fiery power seemed like it was going to explode his huge body. Half an hour later, when Wang Mang felt that he had consumed all the corpses, the next moment the system's voice sounded. Ding! Congratulations, host! Successfully swallowed a first heaven immortal emperor. Obtained 1.5 million energy points. Ding! Congratulations, host! Successfully swallowed a second heaven immortal emperor. Obtained 3 million energy points. Ding! Congratulations, host! Successfully swallowed a third heaven immortal emperor. Obtained 6 million energy points. Ding! Congratulations, host! Obtained a total of 120 million energy points. After hearing the system's voice, Wang Mang couldn't help but be elated. He didn't expect that he would be able to devour close to 40 immortal emperors. It actually allowed him to accumulate 120 million energy values. Of course, this wasn't a lot. But Wang Mang had a rough idea. An early-stage immortal emperor expert, how much energy could I provide to him? Especially experts at the third heaven of the immortal emperor realm. Each of them could provide him with 6 million energy points. It could be said that the harvest of devouring the corpses of the immortal emperors was much greater than he had imagined. Originally, he thought that he would suffer a loss. But after devouring so many immortal emperors, not only did he not suffer a loss, but he also made a huge profit. Thinking of this, Wang Mang had the urge to laugh out loud, because this meant that if he encountered such a situation again in the future, he could use the wrath of gods and demons without hesitation. Of course, the premise was that he could devour enough experts, but this time, no matter what, Wang Mang had made a profit. Moreover, it was a huge profit. Even if Wang Mang was thrown into the middle stage of the Immortal Emperor competition, he wouldn't lose out at all. Because as long as there were enough middle-stage immortal emperors, Wang Mang dared to continue using the wrath of gods and demons. Just as Wang Mang was in high spirits, a few screams could be heard from afar. Wang Mang turned his head to look, and saw a white-clothed young man rapidly rushing over. In just a short while, this young man in white was very close to Wang Mang. He stood proudly in the air, looking down at Wang Mang indifferently and said slowly, "Come on. As long as you can defeat me, this opportunity belongs to you." You're tuning in to the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.